Chapter 578. After understanding the situation of the myriad races, Qin Shujian also understood a lot. Moreover, he also learned more about the glorious history of the demon race. In his opinion, if it wasn't for that demon emperor's ambition, there might not be anything about the Emperor of Heaven. However, that demon emperor was very strong, but his brain didn't seem to be working. He didn't have the strength to destroy the myriad races, but he had the heart to do so. The consequences of attacking together could be imagined. Therefore, that demon emperor's death was not unjust. Later on, the Emperor of Heaven was much smarter. He didn't let the myriad races of the world belong to the human race. Instead, he used a gentle method and established the heavenly court to rule the myriad races. Unfortunately, later on, the demon abyss came and completely ruined the glory of the heavenly court. Qin Shujian said, "How many years has the Emperor of Heaven ruled the myriad races since he established the heavenly court?" "It has been exactly 90,000 years since the demon abyss arrived," Godslayer said without hesitation. As the Zubing of the human race, the Emperor of Heaven was also an expert of the human race. He firmly remembered the glorious history of the heavenly court. Strictly speaking, in fact, the heavenly court was also a part of the human race. The reason why he didn't use the name of the human race and instead used the name of the heavenly court was to avoid following in the footsteps of that demon emperor. In Godslayer's opinion, if it had been a few hundred years, or even a few million years, perhaps the myriad races would gradually disappear, leaving only the heavenly court and the human race. At that time, the myriad races of the world would belong to the human race. Although the two had similar goals, one method was too forceful and reckless, while the other method was much gentler and didn't cause too much backlash. Godslayer sighed and said, "It's a pity that the demon abyss destroyed the heavenly court. Otherwise, even if the myriad races didn't belong to the human race wouldn't be persecuted by the myriad races. The human race has been declining for too long. Now, it's time for an ancient human emperor, or even an expert at the level of the Emperor of Heaven to walk out. You and the current human emperor are the most promising people to reach that step," Godslayer said. Hearing this, Qin Shujian's expression didn't change. He chuckled and said, "Senior, do you think I should be the human sovereign or the Emperor of Heaven? Do you want to be the human emperor or the Emperor of Heaven?" The Godslayer threw the question back. Qin Shujian's smile faded a little. He shook his head and said, "It's too early to talk about anything. No one can say for sure what will happen in the future. Speaking of which, I also have something I want to ask. Do you recognize the stone spear in Marquis Bayun's hand? I have some impression of it. It seems to be the weapon of an emperor or an immortal." Godslayer tried to recall and said, "It's been too long. I can't remember it clearly, but the aura that stone spear emitted gave me some impression. I've dealt with him before. Although there were not many ancestral armaments in the ancient era, there were more than 2 or 3 ancestral armaments. Ever since the birth of the world, countless races had been born. Perhaps some of them had given birth to ancestral armaments. But later, when the races were destroyed, the Zubing moved around and finally fell into the hands of an expert. But what I can be sure of is that the Zubing didn't belong to any of the races that survive today. Because if there was a race that survived, the Zubing of that race would never fall into the hands of an outsider, because there's no possibility of the Zubing betraying them. Once they betray their race, it's the same as betraying their beliefs. They will directly fall from the level of the Zubing. Only when the race they belong to is destroyed will the Zubing choose another race to be its user. Godslayer had some impression of the stone spear. At the very least, he was sure that he had met the Zubing before. However, there was one thing that the god-slaying blade was certain of. That ancestral armament was not a human's ancestral armament. The reason for that was because the human race only possessed a total of 3 ancestral armaments. Thus, how could he not recognize them? Therefore, Marquis Bayun's Zubing must be from an alien race. But the same logic applied. The Zubing of an alien race would not fall into the hands of an alien race. Only when the race was destroyed could it choose a master from another race. Godslayer said, "I almost forgot about it before you mentioned it. Now that you mention it, I remember something. The Marquis Bayun you mentioned seems to be a person favored by fate. To be able to get the help of the Zhu Bing, he himself is a person with great fate. There seems to be something wrong with this era. A race can't give birth to so many sons of fate in the same era. After all, the fate of heaven and earth is limited, and the share of fate that a race can occupy is also limited. Judging from the current situation of the human race, it's already the limit for one son of fate to appear in each era. 2 sons of fate would be a little unusual, but now there are 3. Boy, I can tell you clearly that there is definitely something wrong with this era. It's either a great prosperity or a terrible calamity is coming. But no matter which one it is, it will inevitably be accompanied by war and killing. If you are not careful, you may end up with the extinction of your race. At the mention of the Marquis Bayonne, Godslayer was also very surprised. During the war, he didn't have time to care so much. After the war, Qin Shujian asked a series of questions, which also stunned Godslayer. Until he mentioned the Marquis Bayonne, only then did Godslayer think of this matter again. It was very unusual for 3 sons of fate to appear in one era. Qin Shujian also felt the seriousness of the other party's words. He couldn't help but frown and ask, "Senior, what do you mean? Do you know how to give birth to a son of fate?" "Senior, please enlighten me." Godslayer said, "Every once in a while, a son of fate will be born in a race. That person is favored by the fate of heaven and earth, and is also favored by the fate of the race. Whenever a son of fate appears, at least more than half of the fate of the race will gather on that person. It is precisely because of this that a second son of fate is rarely born. Every time a son of fate dies, a new son of fate will be born after 10,000 years. But the current situation is definitely not that simple." Godslayer's tone was very grave. The son of fate was not as simple as a few words. The child of destiny of any race was destined to maintain the glory of that race, or to lead a declining race out of its doldrums. Such a person, it was absolutely impossible to ignore. But now that Godslayer had discovered 3 sons of fate, it was equivalent to saying that the human race might be overloading its foundation. Therefore, when he discovered this problem, Godslayer's first reaction was to wonder if the human race had reached the point of extinction. That was why 3 sons of fate were born in one breath, in a final desperate struggle. Originally, Godslayer had 2 guesses, but after opening up the 3 major continents, the strength of the other races was not enough to destroy the human race. Therefore, he only had one guess: the demon abyss. Boy, the future great tribulation of the demon abyss may be the time when the human race is destroyed. Otherwise, it would not have given birth to so many sons of fate. This is definitely because the fate of the human race itself has felt the threat of extinction. At the end of ancient times, the human race gave birth to 2 sons of fate. One was the Emperor of Heaven, and the other was the human emperor. This time, it is even more exaggerated. 3 were born at once, and it is unknown whether there will be more. The future great tribulation of the demon abyss may completely overturn the human race. The fate of the human race has sensed the danger, so it has done this. Regarding Godslayer's words, Qin Shujian's expression also eased a little. The great tribulation of the demon abyss. During that long period of time, he didn't feel any urgency. Who cares about the great tribulation? As long as I am strong enough, there will be no problem. If I am not strong enough, it will be a waste of time to think about it. Senior, am I right? If you put it that way, there is no problem. Godslayer's tone was much calmer. Indeed, what was the use of thinking so much? Whether it was 1 son of fate or 10 sons of fate, when the time comes, all he had to do was to fight. In short, he just had to do his best. Subsequently, Qin Shujian did not pay attention to Godslayer. He opened the seal of the storage ring and took out the arm of the ancient Buddha. It was obviously a stone arm, but there was pale golden blood gushing out of the broken part. When the arm left the storage ring, it suddenly erupted with a vast power, as if to suppress Qin Shujian. Even if it was a broken arm, the power it exerted could easily suppress a mighty figure. In the face of such power, Qin Shujian did not intend to fight. He directly took out Godslayer and then suppressed the broken arm. Godslayer stood in the air, and the saber energy turned into a cage, imprisoning the broken arm inside. As for Zhu Bing, There was nothing he could do about the broken arm of the ancient Buddha. After all, his arm was cut off by Godslayer himself. Looking at the arm that was still alive, Qin Shujian clicked his tongue in wonder. Senior, do you know the origin of the ancient Buddha clan? Haven't you already seen that the ancient Buddha clan was actually cultivated from stone statues? Oh, stone people. Qin Shujian nodded as if he understood something. He really did not expect that stone could become a clan. If that was the case, there would be too many clans. Godslayer said, "Don't underestimate the ancient Buddha clan." The ancient Buddha clan was also a big clan in ancient times because there were also emperors in the ancient Buddha clan. When they were in the heavenly court, although their strength was not as strong as the human emperor, they were definitely not ordinary. The ancient Buddha emperor of this generation is actually not weak, but the human emperor of the human clan is too strong. If you want to refine the blood essence of the ancient Buddha, you have to be careful because it will be harder to refine than Star Sage's blood essence. There was a hidden meaning. The ancient Buddha emperor was stronger than Star Sage. Hearing that, Qin Shujian nodded slightly. Star Sage was also in the Nirvana realm, but he actually did not know how strong Star Sage was. However, seeing that the ancient Buddha emperor was hung up and beaten by the human emperor, it seemed that the ancient Buddha emperor's strength was just average. With such a deduction, Star Sage's strength seemed to be just that. As if seeing through Qin Shujian's inner thoughts, Godslayer said in a deep voice, "Don't underestimate the ancient Buddha emperor. It's just that the human emperor of the human clan is too strong. I even suspect that at his peak strength, he can already kill immortals. With your current strength, even if you add Zhu Bing, it's impossible to contend against the ancient Buddha emperor." Senior, you're right. Qin Shujian did not argue with him. Then, he looked at the ancient Buddha's arm in front of him and directly swallowed it with the red lotus of purgation. When the flame spoke, Yi Zichen was stunned. The stone saber seemed to tremble slightly. Godslayer said involuntarily, "Boy, what kind of fire is this?" During the battle, the God-slaying saber did not have much of a reaction when Qin Shujian used the red lotus of delusion. This was because he was hiding in the other party's sea of consciousness and did not feel the power of the flames. But now it was different. As soon as the red lotus of purgation appeared, Godslayer felt his divine thoughts tremble. Even Zhu Bing's body felt a great threat. Such a flame. Even with his knowledge and experience, he had never seen or heard of such a thing. Qin Shujian said with a faint smile, "It's just a little trick. Senior, you don't have to worry about it." He did not tell Godslayer too much. Although the red lotus of purgation had been used now, Qin Shujian still did not want too many people to know too much about the red lotus of purgation. There were some things. It was fine to see it, but it was not necessary to say it out loud. For this, Godslayer did not ask any more questions. He could see that Qin Shujian did not intend to tell him about this. Looking at the flame that swallowed the ancient Buddha's arm, Godslayer's heart was filled with great fear. He was sure Qin Shujian definitely had a big secret. After only a few minutes, the ancient Buddha's arm was refined, leaving only a red lotus lying there quietly. At the same time, in the western continent, at the top of the mountains, there stood a huge palace. The ancient Buddha emperor was sitting in the golden lotus. The broken arm in his left hand had not fully recovered. Zhu Bing's saber energy lingered around the broken arm. Just as Qin Shujian was about to refine his arm, the ancient Buddha emperor felt something. He opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the eastern continent. The human clan. The ancient Buddha emperor's petrified face did not show any specific changes in expression. This time, all the clans had fallen in the hands of the human clan. He was the same. The human emperor's strength was simply terrifying. If it were not for the fact that the rules of heaven and earth had just been perfected and could not give birth to an immortal, the ancient Buddha emperor would have thought that the human emperor was not a supreme expert of the Nirvana realm, but a true immortal. With his own strength, he fought against 4 emperors. The human emperor's strength was something the ancient Buddha emperor had never seen in his life. The human clan is blessed by the heavens. After the decline of the ancient times, their luck has continued to this day. Just the eastern continent alone can give birth to such a powerhouse. It really surprised me. Thinking of the human emperor, the ancient Buddha emperor sighed. He really did not expect the human emperor to be so strong. When he returned here, the ancient Buddha emperor also figured out some things. At that time, the human emperor was definitely an arrow at the end of its flight, or else it would not be as simple as just one slash. Obviously, at that time, the human emperor was already holding on, so he did not chase after them. After just one slash, he let them escape. But even if he figured out this matter, the ancient Buddha emperor did not plan to go back and fight the human emperor again. The human emperor was an arrow at the end of its flight. He was also seriously injured, and the ancient Buddha emperor was not sure. Was the human emperor really at his limit, or was it a trick to deceive them? But one thing was certain. Before his injuries were healed, the ancient Buddha emperor had no intention of fighting the human emperor head-on. As for whether the human clan would attack the ancient Buddha clan, he was not worried. In the ancient times, the ancient Buddha clan was a big clan. Now that all clans had declined, the ancient Buddha clan was still powerful. In this battle, except for him who was seriously injured, the rest of the ancient Buddha clan experts were unscathed. Moreover, this was the territory of the ancient Buddha clan. If the human emperor really attacked, the ancient Buddha emperor was confident that he could fight the human emperor head-on with the luck of the ancient Buddha clan. Soon, the ancient Buddha emperor thought of the godslayer in the human emperor's hands and said to himself, "Weren't Zubing destroyed in the ancient times? How could there still be Zubing left? Could it be that the human clan left a backup plan in the ancient times?" He was not sure. Because of the great calamity of the ancient demon abyss, thousands of clans fought until the sky fell and the earth cracked. Even with Zubing, after killing a large number of demons, they were also destroyed in the calamity. Therefore, there were almost no Zubing that could really survive. If there was one, it would be the heavenly demon temple of the demon clan. Unfortunately, when the restriction of heaven and earth in the eastern continent was activated, the only heavenly demon temple was abandoned in the eastern continent, causing Zubing to completely disappear in the three major continents. Now, the human clan had taken out two Zubing at once. The ancient Buddha emperor was also very afraid of this. The human emperor was strong enough. If he were to possess an ancestral armament, who would be able to contend against him? Immediately after, the ancient Buddha emperor condensed the appearance of Qin Shujian and Marquis Baiyun, and then spread the news throughout the ancient Buddha clan. Suddenly, in the territory of the ancient Buddha clan, the sleeping stone statues woke up one after another. Pay close attention to the situation in the three major continents. These two humans have Zubing in their hands. Find a way to seize it. Yes, my emperor. Many ancient Buddha clan powerhouses bowed and accepted the order. The ancient Buddha emperor thought for a moment, and then said, "Qin Shujian of the human clan is very powerful, not much weaker than the emperors of the various clans. If it's not necessary, don't conflict with him for the time being. Pay attention to the other human clan." Yes, the ancient Buddha clan powerhouses accepted the order. After doing all this, the ancient Buddha emperor did not say anything else. The principle of picking the soft persimmon to pinch was that there was no distinction between races. Between Qin Shujian and Marquis Baiyun, it was obvious that Marquis Baiyun was easier to bully. Even though Marquis Baiyun had fought against 5 experts at the 8th or 9th level of the Celestial Realm and remained undefeated, in terms of Qin Shujian's ability to severely injure the High Priest of the Celestial Realm, Marquis Baiyun was still far inferior. Meanwhile, the Demon Clan, the Celestial Race, the Blood Eldar, and other clans all issued the same order. The Human Clan had 2 Zubing in their hands, and even the Demon Clan felt uneasy. Because even if the Heavenly Demon Temple recovered, the Demon Clan only had 1 Zubing, and they could not compete with it at all. Moreover, it was the same order as the ancient Buddha Emperor. The target of these clans was only Marquis Baiyun. There was no other way. Qin Shujian was too powerful, and they did not want to act rashly. Not to mention how difficult it was to kill a human with the strength of a ruler, the price they would have to pay was not something that the various clans could bear at the moment. Therefore, Marquis Baiyun was the best target. After all, in terms of strength, Marquis Baiyun's battle record was obviously not as brilliant as Qin Shujian's, and he was not as intimidating. However, the orders of the various clans were only spread in the 3 continents. The humans were now in control of the passageway. The various clans could not infiltrate the eastern continent at all. If they forced their way through the passageway, it would be equivalent to starting a war with the humans again. The current situation, the various clans did not want to fight anymore, especially the God clan. The Divine Emperor was severely injured, and the High Priest was severely injured. Half of the celestial beings had fallen, and they almost fell from the top level. If it were not for the fact that the Divine Emperor was still alive, there would be clans attacking the God clan now. Therefore, the God clan did not dare to openly confront the humans anymore. If they really fought, even if the humans suffered heavy losses, the God clan would definitely be finished. Just like that. Without knowing it, Marquis Bayun had inexplicably become the softest persimmon in the eyes of the various clans. Eastern Continent, Mount Liang's spiritual domain. In front of Godslayer's perception, the ancient Buddha's broken arm was directly refined by the red lotus of purgation. The body of a Nirvana realm powerhouse could not hold on for long in front of flames. Such a scene also made Godslayer extremely fearful. Subsequently, in front of Godslayer, Qin Shujian directly held the red lotus of purgation and absorbed the energy contained in it. Instantly, a terrifying wave of energy crazily surged into his body. Just as Godslayer had said, the ancient Buddha Emperor's strength was even more terrifying than the Star Saint's, and a drop of the Star Saint's blood essence could open up thousands or hundreds of star acupoints in the past. Now, the ancient Buddha Emperor's arm contained at least 2 or 3 drops of blood essence. Under such circumstances, the energy contained in the red lotus exceeded Qin Shujian's imagination. When this vast amount of energy converged into his body, Qin Shujian originally wanted to open up the star acupoints directly. With the strength of this energy, he might be able to break through to the 5th level of the celestial being realm. However, thinking of his original plan, he suppressed this impulse. He stood there motionlessly, controlling the pure energy to gather in the stellar acupoint that he had already opened. Rumble. The star acupoints that had been successfully opened were now expanding little by little under the bombardment of energy. That's right. Qin Shujian was now improving his foundation. Because according to his guess, no matter how strong his foundation was, consuming the same amount of life force would definitely be able to improve his realm. Since that was the case, in that case, he might as well strengthen his foundation before accumulating enough life force to strengthen his foundation. At that time, he would use the life force to break through in one fell swoop. Qin Shujian had a hunch that his increased strength would definitely be much stronger than his current breakthrough. So, Qin Shujian was too lazy to open up new acupoints, so he might as well strengthen his foundation directly. Anyway, when his foundation became stronger, his strength would also increase accordingly. At most, the extent of the increase would not be as much as opening up the star acupoints directly. 2 hours passed. Qin Shujian had just completely digested this energy. He saw that the 13,200 star acupoints in his body had expanded by 1/5 from their original size. This expansion, it was a transformation of the whole body. With the expansion of the star acupoints, Qin Shujian felt that his strength had also improved a lot. Although he did not break through his realm and did not open up new acupoints, the expansion of the acupoints was already a disguised improvement. Qin Shujian made an estimation in his mind. Before refining the ancient Buddha Emperor's broken arm, his combat strength was 21,000. Now, his combat strength had reached 23 or 4,000. Qin Shujian was satisfied with such an increase in combat strength. Next, he turned his attention to the storage ring again. There was still the monster emperor's broken body and bloodling Huang's flesh. Chapter 579. In terms of strength, the demon emperor and bloodling Huang were not much worse than the ancient Buddha emperor. Soon, Qin Shujian refined both of them. Compared to the ancient Buddha emperor's arm, the demon emperor's body and the broken half of bloodling Huang's body contained more essence blood. After refining both of them, although no new acupoints were opened, the original acupoints had expanded a lot. Qin Shujian's body, which had been standing still for a long time, trembled slightly. The space immediately buzzed, as if some ancient fierce beast was awakening. He raised his hand. He flicked his finger. The strong wind shattered the void, and heaven and earth exploded in an instant. Qin Shujian smiled and said, "Senior, what do you think of my current strength?" "Not bad." Godslayer was a little jealous. When he said not bad, he looked at it from the perspective of an ancient true immortal. In fact, to be able to be called not bad in the eyes of an ancient true immortal, that was really amazing. However, Godslayer also reminded, with your current foundation, if you break through to the immortal realm, you will also have the strength of an ancient true immortal, and much stronger than an ordinary ancient true immortal. I suggest you don't accumulate to strengthen your foundation, otherwise it will be many times more difficult for you to break through in the future. Even if you have the means to extend your life, it will only be 10,000 years. Don't think that a few thousand years is a long time. In fact, for ordinary cultivators, a few thousand years is not enough for them to cultivate. When your foundation is too strong and you can't break through in 1,000 years, I'm afraid there will be problems with your state of mind. In his opinion, he really didn't recommend Qin Shujian to accumulate too strong a foundation. For cultivators, combat strength was one aspect, but the most important thing was still the realm. This was because only when one's cultivation level increased would one be able to live longer and have more opportunities. Purely indulging in the improvement of combat strength was actually going astray. So what if one's combat strength was heaven-defying? Even if a first-level celestial being could kill immortals, it was useless. Other immortals didn't even need to fight with you. When you came out of seclusion, you were almost turned to ashes. Cultivation, for the sake of longevity. From Godslayer's point of view, Qin Shujian was currently too engrossed in improving his combat prowess and had neglected his own realm. Furthermore, even if your strength increases further, it will be very difficult to cause any major changes if your realm can't keep up. Celestial beings slaying immortals refers to the possibility of celestial beings slaying immortals. The strength of an ancient true immortal who had transformed into an immortal body is not something that cultivators below the true immortal realm can compare with. The god-slaying saber advised. Qin Shujian was a good seedling. It would be too embarrassing if he died from a few thousand years of lifespan. Qin Shujian didn't care. He said, "Senior, don't worry. I have my own plans." Then, he asked again, "I wonder how much lifespan a heavenly being can gain after breaking through to the nirvana stage?" "It won't increase my lifespan," Godslayer replied. "Not increasing my lifespan?" Qin Shujian was astonished and said, "Could it be that after breaking through the nirvana realm, the limit of one's lifespan is the same as that of a celestial being?" F***CK. He thought that the nirvana stage would increase one's lifespan. If that was the case, the human emperor didn't have many years left to live. The human emperor's lifespan was nearing its end. Later on, he faked his death and killed a lot of people. Then, he opened the heaven and earth restriction and let the human race step into the 3 continents. If the nirvana stage didn't increase one's lifespan, then the human emperor basically didn't have many years left to live. The other party opened the heaven and earth restriction not only for the human race, but also to perfect the heaven and earth law and take the opportunity to become an immortal. The god-slaying saber said, "Actually, many people have a misunderstanding. They think that after breaking through a realm, one's lifespan will definitely increase. This saying is actually correct, but what you have to know is that nirvana is actually not a separate realm. Cultivators in the nirvana stage are the transition from a celestial being to an immortal. Strictly speaking, they are still in the celestial being category, but they have just stepped out of the celestial being shackles. This step can transform one's strength, but there won't be any changes to one's lifespan before they truly transform into an immortal body." Qin Shujian nodded slightly. He finally understood that the nirvana stage didn't increase one's lifespan. There was a good reason why the human emperor was in such a hurry to open the heaven and earth restriction. No wonder. Qin Shujian thought of the human emperor's absolute strength. The other party indeed had the capital to open the heaven and earth restriction. After all, he had beaten up the emperors of the 4 races alone. This kind of strength could be said to be shocking. In the end, although they used the Godslayer to severely injure their opponents, even without the Godslayer, the emperors didn't have an easy time. After walking out of the forbidden grounds, Qin Shujian stayed in his small courtyard. Although the spiritual flower tea produced by Mu Yang couldn't increase one's strength, it could nourish one's spirit. He was sleepy during this period of time, so he could drink tea and live a leisurely life. While Qin Shujian was resting, the Great Zhao also caused a great commotion. First of all, many powerhouses in the cultivation world had fallen, and the strength of many sects could no longer support their original status. Just like the Supreme Sect, Su Zhang had fallen, and many elders in the God martial arts realm had died in battle. The Supreme Sect's strength had fallen from a top sect to a level that was even inferior to a large sect in a large region. Under such circumstances, it was inevitable that some people were ready to make a move. However, with the imperial court's order, no one dared to make a move on the surface. In fact, there were still undercurrents surging. At the same time, the three continents also aroused the curiosity of the human race. After all, the Eastern continent was only one of the 4 continents. The other 3 continents had many races, so it was inevitable that there would be many resources. Regarding this, some humans wanted to leave the Eastern continent, but they were afraid of the existence of the other races, so they didn't make a move. During this period of time, the Yuan sect was also shocked. The reason for the shock was very simple. This time, many disciples of the Yuan sect went out to fight, and half of them died. The people and things that were involved in this matter weren't small either. In addition to that, this was the latest rule of the Yuan sect. The subsidies and benefits for the participants, as well as all kinds of pensions, were actually only secondary. This was because out of more than 200,000 disciples, only a small number of them participated in the battle. What they really cared about was the establishment of the Heaven List. Moreover, the generous rewards on the Heaven List were the source of all the Yuan sect disciples' interest. To be able to enter the list, this proved that there was an endless stream of contribution points every day. Although the contribution points given every day were not many, over the years, it was extremely generous. Not to mention, the top 10 had the opportunity to enter the secret land to cultivate, which was even more tempting. The secret land. Ever since Qin Shujian opened this place, it had already attracted the curiosity of many Yuan sect disciples. Although no one had entered the secret land, everyone could guess how great the benefits of the secret land were. Therefore, after the Heaven List was established, there were already many disciples who were eager to give it a try. However, the challenge of the Heaven List had not officially started, so these disciples could only watch. 7 days later, all the real martial realm disciples who participated in the battle had already arrived at the main sect. There were a total of more than 500 people. Hiss, such rich spiritual energy. Damn. When did the spiritual energy in the main sect become so rich? Stepping into the main sect, all the disciples were envious. Isn't this spiritual energy too rich? Many disciples used to stay in the main sect, so they had a certain understanding of the main sect. However, although the spiritual energy in the main sect was rich at that time, it was definitely not rich to this extent. The surging spiritual energy made people feel as if they were in a secret cultivation room. Lu Dazhong was instantly envious and said, "Damn, the spiritual energy in the main sect is so rich to this extent. Cultivating here is equivalent to soaking in a secret cultivation room every day. I hate that I went to the sky vein now. If I could still stay here, wouldn't my strength increase by leaps and bounds?" He was really jealous of her. There was no other way. The spiritual energy in the main sect was so rich that it could not be compared to the past, let alone the current branch. It was the same cultivation. It was not an exaggeration to say that. The amount of spiritual energy absorbed by the main sect in 1 day was comparable to that absorbed by the branch in 5 days. Although it was said that the amount of spiritual energy absorbed did not mean that the breakthrough would be accelerated by how many times. But at least, cultivating in a place with rich spiritual energy could indeed shorten the time needed to break through. Ahem. Zheng Hong, who was walking in front, had a dark face. The Sky Vein Branch Master was still here. What was the meaning of this? Zheng Hong felt that he had to do something. Suddenly, Lu Dazhong felt a chill in his body. When he heard Zheng Hong's cough, he immediately shut his mouth. He had almost forgotten. The one who led the team this time was the Sky Vein Branch Master. To put it bluntly, The Sky Vein branch was Zheng Hong's territory. So, when Zheng Hong coughed, Lu Dazhong immediately shut up. Zheng Hong said lightly, "Keep quiet in the main sect. Don't talk so much." After saying that, many disciples who were still whispering also shut their mouths at this time. Not long after, the branch masters of each branch brought people to the main hall of the secret realm. Seeing this, the elders guarding the main hall also opened the door of the secret realm and let people in. This matter, Qin Shujian had already told them. So after verifying their identities, they directly let them in. It was only when they walked into the secret realm that they were truly shocked. A cool feeling hit them in the face, and their clothes became slightly moist. That was not mist. It was the spiritual energy that was so rich that it reached the shape of mist. As the spiritual energy flowed in, someone suddenly shouted, "Damn! I feel that I'm going to break through." He was originally stuck at the peak of a small realm. At this moment, stimulated by the spiritual energy, he suddenly touched the bottleneck. A few breaths passed. A slightly powerful aura came out. The disciple immediately came to his senses and said with a smile, "I finally broke through the 8th level of the martial realm." Hearing that, the others were instantly envious. The 8th level of the martial realm. He broke through from the 7th level of the martial realm to the 8th level of the martial realm. Looking at the misty spiritual energy around, the other disciples were going crazy. No one needed to say anything. All the disciples spread out like a swarm of bees, found a suitable place in the secret realm, and then immediately sat down cross-legged to cultivate. The local disciples were fine. For the players, at this moment, when they absorbed the spiritual energy, they could clearly see that the experience bar of the cultivation method was constantly jumping. Lu Dazhong sat cross-legged. When he just ran the cultivation method, he saw that the experience bar at 76% jumped to 77% in a short time. Seeing this, his excitement could be imagined. I'm now at the 9th level of the martial realm. According to this progress, it won't be long before I can break through to the spiritual martial realm. Thinking of the spiritual martial realm, Lu Dazhong took a deep breath. Calm down. He must calm down. He was originally a cultivator of the spiritual martial realm. It was only because he died a few times that his realm dropped. Now, even if he returned to the spiritual martial realm, he would only recover his previous strength. However, Lu Dazhong forced himself to be shocked, but he couldn't be shocked at all. This was not as simple as recovering to the spiritual martial realm. If he really progressed at this speed, he would break through to the 2nd level of the spiritual martial realm after coming out of the secret realm. Thinking of this, Lu Dazhong found that he would only be in there for a few days, and he felt a burst of anxiety. A few days was really too short. At this time, all the disciples were sitting cross-legged to cultivate. The secret realm was so big, and the spiritual energy was full here. The concentration of spiritual energy in each area was actually about the same. At most, the spiritual energy near Mu Yang would be a bit richer. But in fact, the difference in the concentration of spiritual energy was basically not too much to care about. Because even if one cultivated in the shallowest area, one's cultivation could be said to be advancing by leaps and bounds. In the middle of the secret realm, a huge osmanthus tree with branches and leaves swaying gently. When the gate of the secret realm opened, it should be said that when these disciples stepped into the main sect, Mu Yang had already noticed. Although he was rooted in the secret realm, his roots went deep into Liang Mountain. Every move of the main sect could not be hidden from Eldar's perception. To this, Mu Yang did not pay attention to it. He was only silently cultivating. As long as these people did not disturb him, there would be no problem. As an Eldar, he was the most sensitive to certain things. After breaking through to the celestial realm, Mu Yang had a faint sense of crisis in his heart. This sense of crisis even made his mind tremble. So, Mu Yang only wanted to improve his strength as much as possible. If something really happened, he would have enough strength to face it. 10 years. Refining the wood's spirit heart. Normally speaking, this speed was already very fast. But in Mu Yang's view, this speed was still a lot slower. This unseen sense of crisis made him feel even more urgent. If I refine the wood spirit heart, I can at least break through to the 7th or 8th level of the celestial realm. If I refine enough, even reaching the 10th level of the celestial realm is not impossible. Mu Yang estimated the energy of the wood spirit heart and had a rough idea in his heart. Half immortal was not a joke. Only that was an existence that was closer to immortality than Nirvana realm cultivators. If Nirvana realm was said to be taking a step forward, then half immortal was not only taking a step forward, but also raising the other foot. An expert of this level. Although he was not an ancient true immortal, the strength he possessed was extremely terrifying. The energy accumulated from the wood spirit heart that a half-immortal nurtured from his own body might not be able to directly create a new half-immortal, but it was not too far off. Mu Yang silently cultivated. With the current situation of heaven and earth, Nirvana realm is the strongest. If I can reach the 10th level of the celestial realm, I can also deal with many things. However, the laws of heaven and earth have already been perfected. Although Nirvana realm is the strongest, I can't guarantee when an immortal will be born. Thinking about this is still too far away. If I want to become a true immortal, I have to at least reach the 10th level of the celestial realm. On the other side, Qin Shujian also knew that the various branches had sent their disciples into the secret realm, but he did not pay attention to it. After a period of recuperation, he could be considered to have officially recovered. After recovering, Qin Shujian prepared to refine the heaven list. Yes, the heaven list. The heaven list he set up this time was not just a verbal list, but also to forge a sufficiently powerful spiritual artifact. If possible, Qin Shujian hoped that in the future, the heaven list could be similar to the immortal list of myriad races of the heavenly court. This was also what he had been thinking all along. Thinking of the heaven list, Qin Shujian said, "Senior, is it convenient for you to tell me more about the immortal list of myriad races?" Of course, it would be best if there is a refining method. You want to refine the immortal list of myriad races? Godslayer was surprised, but thinking of the other party's forging method that could be called a grandmaster in ancient times, he did not say much. It was good for such a person to have ideas. Thinking for a moment, Godslayer said, "Speaking of which, I do know a little about the refining method of the immortal list of myriad races. If you ask other Zubing, no one should know, but if you ask me, you've asked the right person." As one of the 3 great Zubing of the human race, he had a good relationship with many powerhouses of the human race. The ancient human emperor was like this. The emperor of heaven was the same. Godslayer paused and said, "I remember hearing from the emperor of heaven that there is a complete rule in the immortal list of myriad races. That is to say, with a rule, the immortal list of myriad races has the function of monitoring the myriad races in the world." Qin Shujian was stunned. The rule. There was a rule in a Tao artifact. One had to know. Other cultivators could become immortals on the spot if they mastered a rule. In that case, the immortal list of myriad races was equivalent to an immortal in disguise. This was no wonder. This Tao artifact could monitor the myriad races. Because the rule existed in heaven and earth, it was equivalent to a part of heaven and earth. The immortal list of myriad races merged with the rule, so it naturally had this function. But soon, Qin Shujian's face darkened. It was very simple. Where was he going to find a rule? If he had not mastered the rule himself, how could he use the rule to refine artifacts? So, the plan to imitate the immortal list of myriad races had undoubtedly failed. In that case, if you haven't reached the level of an ancient true immortal, you can forget about refining the immortal list of myriad races. If you want to monitor the myriad races in the world, that is indeed the case, Godslayer said. Hearing this, Qin Shujian heard a different meaning from the other party's words. What if I don't need to monitor the myriad races, but only use it in the sect to count the strength of the sect's disciples? That's simple. Just let Yuanzong's luck be integrated into the immortal list of myriad races that you refine. Godslayer said indifferently, "The reason why the immortal list of myriad races of the heavenly court needs to use the rule is to monitor heaven and earth, and the living beings of the myriad races are also born in heaven and earth. Only by using the rules of heaven and earth can you achieve this step. To put it bluntly, the list needs a medium to connect with living beings. If you only use it for a sect, then you can directly refine it. The disciples of the sect, even if you don't use the rules, are closely related to the sect's luck. After you succeed in refining it, just integrate Yuanzong's luck into it. Qin Shujian suddenly understood. If Godslayer hadn't mentioned it, he really wouldn't have known about this method. Immediately after, Qin Shujian asked again, "Are there any drawbacks to doing this?" "Yes." The God-slaying saber replied directly. Qin Shujian's face darkened immediately. Whatever this saber said, it would only say half of the words. If he didn't ask carefully, he might be tricked to death. It seemed to have sensed Qin Shujian's unfriendliness. Godslayer coughed softly and said, "Because the luck is integrated into the list, unless the list is broken, the luck can't be separated. In other words, if you really do this, the list will become the carrier of the luck. At that time, you will lose the means to use the luck to fight against the enemy. However, correspondingly, the list will also have all kinds of magic after integrating the luck. At that time, the list will also be a very powerful magic weapon. This kind of magic weapon also has a special name, the Treasure of Luck." The Treasure of Luck? This was the first time Qin Shujian had heard of this name. The God-slaying saber said, "Treasures of fate do not belong to spiritual artifacts, Tao artifacts, or ancestral armaments. They are a fourth item that is independent of the three. Treasures of fate also have different strengths and weaknesses. The strong ones are comparable to Zhu Bing's, while the weak ones may only be comparable to spiritual weapons. The strength of the Treasure of Luck depends on the strength of the carrier and the strength of the luck it carries, but similarly, once the Treasure of Luck is broken, it will also cause a great loss to the luck inside. It's also because of this that very few races in ancient times would refine treasures of providence to prevent any damage to their race's providence. However, in terms of the strength of treasures of providence, it's actually more powerful if you have a carrier. For example, the top races like the human race, who have Zhu Bing as their leader, don't need the Treasure of Luck, so they don't want to refine it. However, for some of the weaker races that were unable to consecrate ancestral armaments, they would refine fortune treasures. After obtaining the Treasure of Luck, the strength of these races will increase a lot. As for the consequences, to put it bluntly, if the Treasure of Luck is broken, it will be a matter of life and death for those weak races. Qin Shujian fell into deep thought. Refining the Treasure of Luck was equivalent to giving the heaven list the effect of the list of immortals of the myriad races. At the same time, it would also give Yuanzong a powerful treasure. But at the same time, fate had transformed from formless to tangible. Once the Treasure of Fate was successfully refined, if it was damaged, it would also harm Yuanzong's own fate. Moreover, by doing so, he would lose the way to use his luck to fight against the enemy. After thinking about it, Qin Shujian still felt that he should refine the heaven list. Since the Godslayer said that the Treasure of Luck would be stronger than purely using luck to fight against the enemy, then he had no reason to refuse. As for whether the carrier would break or not, it was just as the Godslayer said. If the Treasure of Luck was broken, Yuanzong would probably die. At that time, there would be nothing to worry about. The current Yuanzong didn't have the capital to compete with the ancient races, nor did he have so many ways to retreat. If he really wanted to talk about it, he was just like those weak races. After making the decision, Qin Shujian immediately took out the materials and prepared to refine the heaven list. Chapter 580. Yuan's sect was in the eastern continent. If he wanted to use his luck against the enemy, he had to be in the eastern continent. If there was a day when he really needed to use his luck against the enemy, the myriad races would have already broken through the eastern continent's human clan's door. Even the imperial court could not stop them. With just Yuan's sect, how many ways could he retreat? So, after figuring out the crux of the matter, Qin Shujian was already prepared to refine the heaven board. Just as the Godslayer had said, refining the heaven board was to create a carrier for the sect's luck. The stronger the carrier, the stronger the Treasure of Luck would be after the fusion. If there was an innate embryo, Qin Shujian was more willing to forge the carrier into a Tao artifact level. But there was no innate embryo now. He could only take a step back and forge it into a top-notch spiritual artifact, just like the eastern continent's door. To forge a top-notch spiritual artifact, the materials were indispensable. If possible, it would be best to fuse with the blood essence of an expert. I've used all the blood essence of an expert. Looking at the empty storage ring, Qin Shujian's face darkened. He had swallowed so happily that he had forgotten to leave some behind. Although with his methods, even if he did not fuse with the blood essence of an expert, he could still forge a top-notch spiritual artifact. However, as top-notch spiritual artifacts, there would definitely be a difference in strength. Therefore, if he wanted to forge, he had to forge the best. Qin Shujian thought to himself, if I want to use the blood essence of an expert, I have to be at least at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm. In other words, I have to use the blood essence of the Eastern Continent's Demon Emperor. If I can use the blood essence of a Nirvana realm expert, that would be even better. Cold Mountain City was already a top-notch spiritual artifact before fusing with the innate embryo. If it did not fuse with the innate embryo but directly fused with the Star Saint's blood essence, it would not enter the category of a Tao artifact. However, it was also a top-notch spiritual artifact. If Cold Mountain City was only a top-notch spiritual artifact in the past, it would definitely be stronger than the Eastern Continent's door, because the Star Saint's blood essence that was fused in the end. It was a Nirvana realm expert, and the Demon Emperor's blood essence that was fused with the Eastern Continent's door was only at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm. Thinking of this, Qin Shujian pondered for a moment. Right now, I don't know how many Nirvana stage experts there are in the 3 great continents. If it's a Nirvana stage expert at his peak, I shouldn't be a match for him. If that's the case, I can only find a heavily injured Nirvana stage expert. There were a few severely injured Nirvana realm martial artists. As far as he knew, there were only 4 of them. The Divine Emperor of the God Clan, the Demon Emperor of the Monster Clan, the Blood Spirit Emperor of the Blood Spirit Clan, and the Ancient Buddha Emperor of the Ancient Buddha Clan. Senior, with my current strength and Zhu Bing's help, is it possible for us to fight against a heavily injured emperor, such as the original Demon Emperor or the Ancient Buddha Emperor? Why are you asking this out of the blue? Godslayer's words were filled with doubt. What's the matter? You want to stab him when you see that he's seriously injured? Based on his understanding of Qin Shujian, this was indeed a possibility. After thinking for a while, the God-slaying saber decided to tell the truth. A Nirvana realm elite is not only powerful, but they also have an absolute understanding of the rules. Once they reach that level, they will be able to do anything. To be honest, they can almost control the rules. Even if the other party is heavily injured, they can use their own control of the rules to get rid of the power of the rules that you borrowed. In other words, if you don't have a certain level of understanding of the rules, you have to rely on your own strength to fight against a Nirvana stage expert. Based on the situation of their fight, the combat power of the 4 emperors is at least around 50,000 to 100,000. After using the power of the rules, it will be around 200,000 to 400,000. Now that they're heavily injured, their overall combat power will be at least 100,000. At this point, Godslayer said in a pessimistic tone, with your current strength, you'll probably die if you fight against such an expert, a heavily injured Nirvana stage expert. The overall combat power that he could unleash would be around 100,000. Qin Shujian estimated his own combat power. After refining the remnants of the Demon Emperor and Bloodling Huang, his realm did not increase, but his combat power should have reached 28,000. Combined with lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, he could more than double his original foundation. In other words, after using lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, he could unleash a combat power of more than 50,000 and less than 55,000. Even if he took the value of 55,000, it was still a far cry from a combat power of 100,000. In that case, together with the God-slaying saber, he should be able to injure a ruler. But what about after he was injured? His vital essence would be exhausted, and then he would be attacked by a group of experts from the same race? Qin Shujian was a little tired. He thought that he was strong enough, but now that he thought about it, he realized that he was still far from it. The emperors of some weak races should not have the strength of a Nirvana stage expert. In other words, the strength of the other party was probably around Celestial Being level 10. And even if they reached the Nirvana stage, their strength would not be as strong as the 4 emperors. After all, The gap between the Nirvana stage experts was quite big. Like the human emperor, he could hang up and beat up 4 of them. An expert of this level, even if he was seriously injured, could still crush those ordinary Nirvana stage experts. To be able to become the top race of the 3 continents, in addition to the heritage left behind from ancient times. The real reason, it was because of the number of top experts each race had. Speaking of which, when the war started, how many races participated in the war? Qin Shujian thought about it. He was not too sure, because the war was too chaotic. In addition, most of the experts of the various races appeared in human form in front of others. It was impossible to distinguish them from the surface. They could only be distinguished from each other's aura. Here came the problem. The war was chaotic, and the aura was turbid. Qin Shujian could not perceive too much. Let's go and see the situation first. Qin Shujian did not think about this for the time being. He was ready to leave the forbidden grounds and go down. Before he left, he also took a look at his life source. It was not much, less than 10 billion. Such a life source. To be honest, the martial arts that could be improved were useless. None of the truly useful martial arts could be improved. Therefore, Qin Shujian just glanced at it and ignored it. He arrived at the mountain gate. Qin Shujian saw Jiang Feng sitting there cross-legged. At this moment, Jiang Feng had already put on his black robe again, and nothing could be seen from his appearance. However, he knew that this zombie was seriously injured. He did not know if it was because zombies were blessed by the heavens that they had a strong physical body that far exceeded that of other creatures. Such a physical body was not easy to be damaged. But at the same time, once the physical body was damaged, it would be very troublesome to recover. Qin Shujian said, "Is there any faster way to recover the zombie?" Other than Jiang Feng, he was the only one at the mountain gate. Therefore, the person he was talking to was the Godslayer in his sea of consciousness. As expected, when Qin Shujian finished speaking, the Godslayer naturally said, "Zombies are a strange race. They are most dependent on the flesh and blood of living creatures and the power of extreme Yin. If you want to recover quickly, you can either place him in a place of extreme Yin or let him devour enough flesh and blood of living creatures. The former requires a little more time, while the latter will be much more convenient. Moreover, the stronger the flesh and blood of living creatures, the faster the zombie can recover. At the same time, it can also improve its own strength." The Godslayer said, "If I'm not wrong, your zombie is only at the first level of the celestial being realm. Its strength is a little weak. If you can let him devour enough flesh and blood of experts, his strength will definitely increase very quickly." The zombie race has a great talent, which is that there is no bottleneck in their improvement. As long as they devour enough energy, they can naturally break through to a higher level. Moreover, this race does not need to comprehend any rules. As long as their strength reaches a certain level, the rules will naturally descend. Qin Shujian looked surprised. When their strength reached a certain level, the rules would automatically descend. Didn't this mean that it would be very convenient for the zombie race to increase their strength? If that's the case, the zombie race should have been a top race in ancient times. It's not that easy. Zombies don't need to comprehend rules, but they also have a flaw, which is that they need to devour a lot of energy. There was once a zombie emperor who devoured an immortal with his own strength, but he still failed to successfully enter the level of a true immortal. It can be said that the price of the birth of every zombie powerhouse is far beyond your imagination. The Godslayer said indifferently, "Heaven and earth were fair. When you were given an advantage, you would be deprived of another advantage." This was the case for the zombie race. They did not need to comprehend rules. When their strength reached a certain level, the rules would naturally descend. However, at the same time, the powerhouses of this race needed an extremely long time to increase their strength. If they wanted to shorten the time, they had to devour enough energy. Even so, the amount of energy they devoured was not something that other living creatures could compare to. If an ordinary living creature needed 1 point of energy to break through from the first level of the celestial being realm to the second level, then the zombie race needed at least 5 points, or even 10 to 20 points. Such a gap made it difficult for the zombie race to produce a top powerhouse. It was just like how a zombie wanted to become an immortal. It needed to devour 100 or 80 celestial beings, or Nirvana realm powerhouses, or it needed to devour a few immortals. No matter which method it was, it made the zombie race hated by other races. Besides that, even if there were really powerhouses of the zombie race who were lucky enough to kill an immortal, they might not have the chance to kill a second or third immortal. In the end, they would definitely attract powerful existences. Therefore, the reason why the zombie race had so few powerhouses was mostly because they were killed by others. Qin Shujian nodded slightly. In the hidden secret art that he had obtained, there was no detailed explanation of these things. It only gave some methods to refine corpses. Now, from the Godslayer, he understood how the zombie race increased their strength. Subsequently, Qin Shujian said, "Follow me." This time, the person who spoke was Jiang Feng. Although Jiang Feng's intelligence was lacking, he could still understand some basic instructions. Therefore, when Qin Shujian finished speaking, he also got up from the ground and silently stood behind Qin Shujian. At the entrance of the passage, the original heaven and earth restriction was opened, and the 4 city gates had been moved to the other 3 continents. However, to be safe, the imperial court had also sent an army to the entrance of the eastern continent. After all, there might be powerhouses from other races sneaking in, so they had to be prepared. The eastern continent was the current headquarters of the human race. The imperial court did not want other races to interfere. As long as they controlled the resources of a continent, the human race would be in an invincible position. If other races swarmed into the eastern continent, then the human race's strength would be much weaker. At this moment, there was an army of 1,000,000 stationed at the entrance of the passage, and a large number of craftsmen were building a new city for the army to rest. When Qin Shujian arrived here, in addition to the imperial court guards, there were also some cultivators who were walking out from the eastern continent. The 3 continents were connected. For many cultivators, this was a rare opportunity. Everyone wanted to try their luck. Among them, the number of players was the largest. The players were not afraid of death. Compared to the 3 continents that had not been developed yet, the players wanted to go in and expand their territory. If they were successful, it wouldn't be a big problem even if he was completely cleared of all the benefits he had gained from it. However, even if they wanted to leave the eastern continent, it would not be easy. In front of each passage, there was a mirror erected. Wait, mirror. Qin Shujian saw that everyone had to look in front of the mirror to pass through the passage. No matter how he looked at it, he found it strange. Could this be the legendary demon-revealing mirror? Qin Shujian could not help but complain. As soon as he finished speaking, the Godslayer in his sea of consciousness said in surprise, "Why, you've heard of the demon-revealing mirror too?" In his opinion, Qin Shujian knew nothing about the ancient times. How would he know about such a high-end thing like the demon-revealing mirror? The Godslayer found it strange. Qin Shujian also looked surprised. Is that really the demon-revealing mirror? What he said about the demon-revealing mirror was just a passing remark. But from what the Godslayer said, it seemed that there really was a demon-revealing mirror. The Godslayer said, "Actually, the demon-revealing mirror is just a saying. If I'm not mistaken, that mirror's real name should be the Heavenly Mirror. In the past, in order to observe all races in the world, the Emperor of Heaven made the Heavenly Mirror. This mirror can observe the world and see the true forms of all races. It's a powerful treasure, comparable to the immortal rankings of all races. But unfortunately, the Heavenly Mirror was broken during the invasion of the Demon Abyss. If I'm not wrong, that bronze mirror is a fragment of the Heavenly Mirror. That familiar aura is not so easy to forget. But now that the Heavenly Mirror is broken, it should not be able to monitor the world anymore. It seems that it can only identify races at most. The Heavenly Mirror. The demon-revealing mirror. Qin Shujian looked at the bronze mirror with a fire in his heart. If it was a complete heavenly mirror, it would be awesome. However, even if it was a broken heavenly mirror, it was still a treasure. And when it was complete, it was a 9-seal Dao weapon. Now that it was broken, it was probably at the level of 4 or 5 seals. The Godslayer said, "At first, I was a little doubtful whether the current human emperor of the human race had really obtained the legacy of the heavenly court, but now it seems that I'm 100% sure. The fragment of the heavenly mirror is not so easy to get. Only from the heavenly court can we get this treasure. Qin Shujian understood. It was not surprising that the human emperor had obtained the legacy of the heavenly court. It was said that he was the son of fate. If he did not have some opportunities, how could he be called the son of fate? Besides, since the human emperor could hang the 4 emperors and beat them, where did his foundation come from? It was almost impossible to cultivate to this level step by step. Qin Shujian was very clear about this. He could have his current foundation because of the cheat, the source of life. The human emperor had great strength, so he must have some cheat codes. But now, the human emperor's cheat code should be the heavenly court. Then, Qin Shujian asked again, the immortal leaderboard of 10,000 clans has a complete law. Does that mean the heavenly mirror also has a complete law? That's right. The god-slaying saber said, 9 sealed Dao artifacts differ in strength. A truly top-notch 9-sealed Dao artifact is one that has fused with a complete set of laws. In terms of power, they are actually not at all inferior to ancestral armaments. Anything integrated with laws would not be simple. Qin Shujian said, if that's the case, why not integrate more laws and directly create a supreme treasure? This question had just appeared in his mind. Since it could capture laws, the more laws it contained, the more powerful it would be. If he had the ability, Qin Shujian would definitely fuse 180 to 180 rules into it. Then, he would be able to kill an ancient true immortal with one slash. The Godslayer said faintly, do you really think it's that easy to capture laws? Capturing laws will lead to the counterattack of the mother stream of laws. Every time you capture a law, it's equivalent to crossing a calamity. And the more laws you capture, the stronger the calamity. In the face of such calamity, even an ancient true immortal would die if he was not careful. Besides, no matter how strong a 9-sealed Dao artifact is, it still has its limits. It's already not easy to accommodate one law. If you want to arbitrarily accommodate more laws, I'm afraid that the Dao artifact will explode before the law punishment arrives. Qin Shujian's face darkened when he heard the Godslayer's tone of speaking as if he was talking about an idiot. However, he also understood how wrong his original idea was. It was not easy to capture laws. There was also a limit to the capacity of a Dao weapon. Qin Shujian looked at the heavenly mirror at the entrance of the passage, then walked over. At this moment, one of the experts guarding the entrance of the passageway suddenly opened his eyes and looked in Qin Shujian's direction. His face was immediately filled with shock, and he immediately walked forward. Duan Sun greets sect leader Qin. General Duan, you're too polite, Qin Shujian said with a smile. How could he not know the general who pacifies the East, Duan Sun? Among the 5 generals of the imperial court, Dan Hao was the leader, and Duan Sun was one of them. During the Battle of the Imperial City, Duan Sun also participated in the Battle of the Various Races not long ago. Qin Shujian still had some impression of this general who pacifies the East. Besides, he was also an expert at the peak of the Saint Realm, and his strength was very strong. Duan Sun said politely, Sect leader Qin, are you going to the 3 continents? Standing in front of Qin Shujian, he did not have the arrogance of the general who pacifies the East at all, because Duan Sun knew very well what kind of person Qin Shujian was in front of him. During the battle of the past, the other party had shown absolute strength and killed mighty figures like slaughtering dogs. He also admired this very much. If Qin Shujian had not killed so many powerful enemies, even if the human race won this time, the casualties would have been extremely heavy. Even Duan Sun, he might not be able to survive to the end. In fact, now, among the various races of the 3 continents, Qin Shujian was the second strongest person of the human race. That's right, the second strongest person of the human race. The first was the human emperor. The second was Qin Shujian in front of him. Therefore, at this moment, Duan Sun saw Qin Shujian and didn't dare to be rude. Hearing the inquiry, Qin Shujian nodded and said, I have something to do in the 3 continents and need to borrow the passage. Okay. Duan Sun nodded. Then, he led Qin Shujian to the entrance of the passage. When they walked into the entrance of the passage, the sky-reaching mirror was already standing there. Seeing Qin Shujian staring at the sky-reaching mirror, Duan Sun said with a faint smile, This is a supreme treasure given by His Majesty, called the Sky-Reaching Mirror. It can reflect the race of living beings and also distinguish the identity of the human race. It was set up to prevent all races from sneaking into the East Continent. According to the rules, sect leader Qin has to stay in front of the Sky-Reaching Mirror for a while. He was also afraid that Qin Shujian would misunderstand. After all, it would be bad if there was any misunderstanding between such an expert. Okay, Qin Shujian didn't refuse. He also wanted to see how mysterious the Sky-Reaching Mirror was. At this moment, coincidentally, the human in front had already left the Sky-Reaching Mirror and entered the passage. Next, it was Qin Shujian's turn. Standing in front of the Sky-Reaching Mirror, he saw the bronze mirror emitting a faint light. At that moment, Qin Shujian felt as if something was scanning his body. In an instant, he was seen through. Then, a series of words appeared on the Sky-Reaching Mirror. Name: Qin Shujian Race, Human Realm, Level 5 of the Heavenly Human Realm Combat Strength. 28,500. The information on it only appeared for a moment before it disappeared. But looking at the scene just now, Qin Shujian couldn't help but complain in his heart. Godslayer didn't tell him that the Sky-Reaching Mirror could see so clearly. Except for the cultivation method column and the source of life, everything else was seen. The Sky-Reaching Mirror. At this moment, Qin Shujian had a better understanding of the word sky-reaching. If the Sky-Reaching Mirror was really so powerful, then it could indeed be said that it was all-seeing. Not only was his cultivation level revealed, but even his combat strength couldn't be hidden. Qin Shujian estimated that his combat strength was about 28,000, but looking at the value given by the Sky-Reaching Mirror, he was even more prepared. 28,500. For a moment, Qin Shujian wanted to take the Sky-Reaching Mirror back. Such a supreme treasure. It was really awesome. As for Duan Sun, he also fell into a daze. It wasn't that Qin Shujian's cultivation level was too high, but that it was too low. 5th tier celestial being? Duan Sun turned his head to look at Qin Shujian. He never thought that this existence who could kill mighty figures and be called the second strongest person of the human race was only a 5th tier celestial being saint cultivator. Was a 5th tier celestial being very strong? It was indeed very strong. However, compared to Qin Shujian's battle record, a 5th tier celestial being was a little too weak. However, the cultivation level was secondary. What really shocked Duan Sun was that Qin Shujian's combat strength was as high as 28,500. One should know that the combat strength reflected by the Sky-Reaching Mirror was only the most basic combat strength. It couldn't be seen at a deeper level. Then, he thought about the combat strength he reflected. Duan Sun fell into self-doubt. Chapter 581. When Qin Shujian and Jiang Feng stepped into the entrance of the passageway, Duan Sun walked up to the Sky-Reaching Mirror. Name: Duan Sun Race, Human Realm, Level 6 Celestial Being Combat Strength, 3,200. An ordinary Level 4 Celestial Being had a combat strength of 500, Level 5 Celestial Being had a combat strength of 1,000, and Level 6 Celestial Being had a combat strength of 1,500 to 2,000. One could have a combat strength of 3,200. Duan Sun could be considered powerful among Level 6 Celestial Beings. There's no problem. Duan Sun was puzzled when he saw the combat strength displayed. The Sky-Reaching Mirror recorded the information of all humans in the Eastern Continent. As long as a human from the Eastern Continent passed through, the Sky-Reaching Mirror would be able to identify them. If it could not identify them, there was no doubt that the person did not belong to the Eastern Continent. As for combat strength, he had only learned about it not long ago. Duan Sun had some understanding of this division. After all, there were strong and weak experts in each realm. If it was just based on realm alone, it was difficult to guess the depth. If it was based on combat strength, it would be much clearer. Of course, the Sky-Reaching Mirror only saw the combat strength on the surface. Ordinary cultivators would have many tricks up their sleeves. When it came to a real battle, combat strength was not absolute. However, Duan Sun looked at his 3,200 combat strength and thought of Qin Shujian's 28,500. He suddenly felt a little breathless. Such combat strength, If it was said that Qin Shujian was a level 10 celestial being expert, there would probably be people who would believe it. However, the other party was a level 5 celestial being. This fact was even more shocking than a level 10 celestial being. A level 5 celestial being already had such powerful combat strength. If he were to reach level 6 celestial being, level 7 celestial being, or even level 10 celestial being, how powerful would he be? Duan Sun did not dare to imagine. Therefore, after the shock, he did not hesitate to send the news back. Middle State Prefecture. Imperial City. The human emperor withdrew from his cultivation, then took out the communication jade talisman and read the information inside. After a while, a look of astonishment appeared on his face. He's really a level 5 celestial being? As for Qin Shujian's strength, the human emperor had some guesses. Although the rule-bending power on the other party's body seemed to indicate that the other party was indeed at the saint stage, he didn't think so after the other party had severely injured the high priest of the Protoss. According to the human emperor's guess, Qin Shujian must have some kind of treasure on him that could conceal his aura. That was why people couldn't detect his true cultivation level. However, Duan Sun's message made the human ruler suspicious. If he said that his perception was wrong, in that case, the heaven-piercing mirror would definitely not be wrong. 5th-tier celestial being with a combat power of 28,500? It seems that we have underestimated you. The human emperor smiled faintly. He had already overestimated Qin Shujian, but now, it seemed that he had still underestimated the other party. But this is good as well. The stronger you are, the better it will be for the human race. The human emperor suddenly sighed. Subsequently, he began to cultivate again. In the previous battle, the sovereigns of the 4 races were severely injured, but the Ren Huang was also severely injured. The current situation, the human race could not afford to be without a supreme master. Otherwise, the situation that the human race had created with great difficulty would completely collapse. Therefore, the recovery of his injuries was imperative. On the other side, Qin Shujian also stepped into the passage. Not long after, the darkness in the passage disappeared. Just like the entrance, there were also powerhouses from the imperial court guarding the exit. Seeing Qin Shujian and a black-robed man coming out, the powerhouse guarding the exit was also stunned for a moment, but he quickly reacted and went forward to greet him enthusiastically. "Greetings, sect leader Qin. You're welcome." Qin Shujian nodded in response and then left. He was familiar with Duan Sun, but he did not have much of an impression of this person. To this, the powerhouse guarding the passage did not say anything. If it were anyone else who left so simply, it would be too arrogant. But if Qin Shujian did so, there was no problem. With the passage as the foundation, the territory of the human race was within a radius of 100,000 miles. Actually, that was not right, because behind the passage was the eastern continent. Right now, the eastern continent was covered with a huge eggshell, and there was a crack in the middle of this eggshell. Therefore, it became the connection point between the eastern continent and the 3 major continents. And this eggshell was the void turbulence. Therefore, seriously speaking, behind the passage was the eastern continent, and in front of it were the 3 major continents. It was not correct to say that it was a radius of 100,000 miles. Strictly speaking, it should be a radius of 100,000 miles with the passage as the foundation. For majestic cities, each occupying one side, they firmly guarded the entrance of the passage. Besides that, there were also many forces in the cultivation world that had entered here, and they each built their own forces' foundations in this 100,000-mile area. It could be said that the current 100,000-mile area was actually the headquarters of the human race in the 3 major continents. In layman's terms, it was a supply point and a safe area. If someone went deep into the 3 major continents and encountered trouble, they could directly hide here. With the current power of the human race, no powerhouse would really dare to go deep into the 3 major continents to pursue. At the same time, if they lacked anything, they could also buy it here. Even Yuan's sect. They all sent people to build a Yuan pavilion branch here. The 4 sides of the city were named after the 4 sides. Qin Shujian was going to the eastern city at this moment. A Saint Realm powerhouse could travel thousands of miles in one step. It did not take much time. Qin Shujian saw a majestic city appear in his sight. A city. There were 4 entrances. Qin Shujian randomly chose an entrance and went straight in. Stepping into the city, there was a surging tide of people inside. Now that they had entered the 3 major continents, it was an irresistible temptation for many people. The eastern city was one of the 4 cities. Naturally, it had also become one of the headquarters of the human race. Qin Shujian seemed to have sensed something. He took another step and appeared in front of a tall building. On the plaque, the words Yuan Pavilion were written. This was the branch set up by Yuan sect in the 100,000-mile area. In the 4 cities, Yuan Pavilion only set up a branch in the eastern city. Walking inside, there were also many people in Yuan Pavilion. After all, with the development of Yuan Pavilion, coupled with Qin Shujian's reputation, Yuan Pavilion's name was also getting bigger and bigger. Many sects wanted to imitate Yuan Pavilion, but in the end, no one was able to shake Yuan Pavilion's position. Walking into Yuan Pavilion, immediately, someone recognized Qin Shujian's identity. Sect Master Qin, who had never concealed his identity, was easily recognized wherever he went. Suddenly, Deacon of Yuan Pavilion came up and bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Sect Master." Please follow me, Sect Master." The deacon respectfully led Qin Shujian in. It was only after Qin Shujian had completely left the hall that there was quite a bit of movement in the quiet hall. "That's the Sect Master of Yuan Sect, Qin Shujian. He's completely different from what I imagined. The #1 powerhouse in the cultivation world. He lives up to his name. That aura seems to make one tremble with fear just by looking at him." "Hey, what #1 powerhouse in the cultivation world?" Sect Master Qin is now the #2 powerhouse of the human race, a supreme powerhouse only below the human emperor. If you say that he's the #1 in the cultivation world, you're belittling him. Hearing these words, the others all fell silent. That's right. The so-called #1 powerhouse in the cultivation world was already a thing of the past. In the past, other cultivators still didn't know how big the gap between the cultivation world and the imperial court was. But in the battle of the past, it really made people understand that the strength of the cultivation world was not qualified to be compared with the imperial court. He was said to be the #1 powerhouse in the cultivation world. But even Su Zhang, who could be said to be the #1 in the past, also fell in the battle. Transcendent, Saint, Almighty. The 3 realms of celestial and human were now no secret. If divided by the 3 realms, the powerhouses in the cultivation world in the past were all in the 1st realm. Such a gap, it was impossible to make up for it. Fortunately, there was now a Qin Shujian in the cultivation world. One had to know. The #2 powerhouse of the human race didn't just refer to the cultivation world, nor did it refer to the imperial court. It included all the humans in the entire eastern continent. This #2. It was very important, and because of this, the cultivators in the cultivation world could hold their heads high in front of the imperial court. After all, in the cultivation world, there was a supreme powerhouse second only to the human emperor. Such an existence, it was not comparable to the #1 powerhouse in the cultivation world in the past. A cultivator sighed with emotion. The cultivation world has produced Sect Master Qin, which can be considered as winning glory for us. At least we also have a supreme powerhouse. Speaking of Sect Master Qin, Si Hanhai of the Sea-Covering Sect also hid his strength. It's a pity that he was able to kill Almighty. Some people also mentioned Si Hanhai. Hearing this, many people nodded in agreement. Si Hanhai's strength was unquestionable. Being able to kill Almighty meant that he was definitely almighty. But what was regrettable was that, after Si Hanhai killed the foreign tribe's Almighty, he had completely disappeared. The overturned Si sect had also sent experts to search for this elder. Unfortunately, there was no news of him so far. Many people were secretly guessing whether something had happened to Si Hanhai, which led to this. However, although the Sea-Covering sect was now without Si Hanhai, no one dared to act rashly. First, there were orders from the imperial court. Second, although Si Hanhai was missing, he didn't really die. If they attacked the Sea-Covering sect, when Si Hanhai returned, they would have to bear the anger of Almighty. Judging from the current situation of the cultivation world, apart from Yuan Zhong, who had the confidence to face Almighty, who else had the confidence to face Almighty? For a moment, the topic also shifted from Qin Shujian to the sea-covering sect. On the other side, under the guidance of the deacon, Qin Shujian had already walked to the second floor above. As for Jiang Feng, he was wearing a black robe and silently followed behind like a wooden man. A spacious hall appeared in their line of sight. "Sect Master, please take a seat. I'll inform the pavilion master right away." After the deacon said that, he respectfully retreated. Qin Shujian sat down in his seat with Jiang Feng standing behind him. Soon, a middle-aged man hurried in. When he saw Qin Shujian, he immediately bowed and saluted. Subordinate Luo Xing greets the sect master. "Rise." "Thank you, sect master." Luo Xing straightened up, then stood in front of Qin Shujian and respectfully asked, "Sect master, what instructions do you have for coming to the Eastern City's Yuan Pavilion branch today?" From the beginning to the end, he had used the title of subordinate. Because after the separation from Yuan Zhong, the pavilion master of Yuan Pavilion was not considered a disciple of Yuan Zhong. Seriously speaking, this was the first time he had seen such a thing. Yuan Pavilion and Yuan Zhong were more like subordinates. So, Luo Xing would call himself a subordinate. "Sit down and talk," Qin Shujian said lightly. The pavilion master of the Yuan Pavilion branch was not appointed by him as the sect master, but by the great elder Zhang Feng. To be able to be the pavilion master, strength and loyalty must be top-notch. When Luo Xing sat down, Qin Shujian also used his Dharma eyes to look at him. Loyalty level, 93. Realm reached the 8th level of the spiritual martial realm. To be honest, such strength was still a little lacking to be the pavilion master of Yuan Pavilion, because Yuan Pavilion came from a top sect. But one thing to know now, Yuan Zhong was short of manpower and did not have a single divine martial realm expert. Under such circumstances, the strength of the 8th level of the spiritual martial realm was already very strong. During this period of time, has Yuan Pavilion collected any information about the 3 continents? Qin Shujian said. The purpose of his visit this time was to get some information about the 3 continents through Yuan Pavilion. Some people did not use it. If he had to inquire about them one by one, it would be equivalent to wasting time. Hearing that, Luo Xing said in a deep voice, "Now many people have entered the 3 continents, but because there is not much time left to break through the restriction of heaven and earth, and the 3 continents are vast and boundless, not much information has been sent back in a short period of time. I don't know what kind of information the sect master wants to know. If there is an accurate target, it will be easier for me to answer. I want to know the complete information about the Earth Eldar." Qin Shujian thought for a while and said, "Apart from the 4 big clans, the one that left the deepest impression on him was the Earth Eldar. There was no other way." Qin Shujian could not forget the phrase, "The Earth Eldar pan the mountain." He had decided. First, he would understand the situation of the Earth Eldar. If the Earth Eldar was not strong, then the essence blood would fall on the other party's head. After all, the Earth Eldar had also attacked the human clan. Now that he had fought back, the other clans had nothing to say. But if he attacked the clans that did not besiege the human clan, then he needed to seriously consider it. After so many years, many clans did not have the determination to kill the human clan. The reason was because the human clan did not show any intention to attack the other clans. Moreover, the human clan was too strong. If there was no need, no clans would want to be the human clan's enemy. As a result, if the human clan rashly attacked the non-hostile clans, it would easily arouse the fear of the other neutral clans. When that time came, maybe it would be the scene from 200,000 years ago. So, before the human clan's strength truly reached the level where it could suppress the other clans, they had to restrain themselves. There were not many targets that Qin Shujian could attack. On the other side, Luo Xing pondered for a moment and then said, reporting to the sect master, "The Earth Eldar is one of the 5 elements Eldar. It is a subordinate of the demon clan. Its strength can only be said to be medium, not very strong or very weak. The Earthling Huang is an expert at the 10th level of the celestial being realm, but in recent years, he has been in seclusion. It seems that he wants to break through to the Nirvana realm. In addition, the Earth Eldar has a total of 5 powerful experts, but 3 of them fell in the war. Now there are only 2 powerful experts on the surface. One is the Great Elder of the Earth Eldar, who is said to be at the 9th level of the Celestial Being realm. The other is the Divine Guardian General of the Earth Eldar, whose strength is between the 8th and 9th level of the Celestial Being realm. In addition to the 2 powerful experts, the Earth Eldar has 6 celestial beings, 2 saints, and 4 transcendents. Luo Xing gave some basic information about the Earth Eldar one by one. He did not say how many experts there were below the celestial being realm. First, it was not easy to calculate this number. Second, Luo Xing knew that Qin Shujian would not need this kind of information. As the pavilion master of a branch of the Yuan Pavilion, he still had some basic eyesight. After hearing Luo Xing's words, Qin Shujian sat still in his seat and fell into silence. Compared to the other races, the Earth Eldar's strength was not considered strong. But strictly speaking, they were not weak at all. At least, in front of powerful experts, the Earth Eldar was not much different from the human race. The human race had 8 powerful experts. He was not considered a powerful expert, and he was not sure whether Si Han Hai was a powerful expert. So, strictly speaking, the human race had 8 powerful experts in the Imperial Court. The number of powerful experts in a single Earth Eldar was more than half of the human race's total. There was no need to say much about the other races. As for the possibility of winning this war, Qin Shujian also felt very fortunate right now. The strength of each race alone might not be as strong as the human race, but if they really worked together, they could definitely destroy the human race. Unfortunately, each race is selfish. No one will really fight to the death for the sake of destroying the human race. Even the God race and the demon race have some reservations. Otherwise, the Divine Emperor and the Demon Emperor would not have run away so quickly. Compared to destroying the human race, the foundation of the 2 races is more important. Qin Shujian thought to himself. Then, he also analyzed the strength of the Earth Eldar, an Earthling Huang who may or may not have stepped into the Nirvana realm, and let's say 2 experts at the 9th level of the Celestial Being realm. In Qin Shujian's view, such strength could only be considered average. At least, if he broke into the Earth Eldar, the Earth Eldar was not confident that they could keep him here. However, the information that the Yuan Pavilion had now should not be all that the Earth Eldar had. No race would expose all their trump cards. That meant that the Earth Eldar might still be hiding a few powerful people. Thinking of this, Qin Shujian sighed. The foundation of the human race is still too shallow. The war 200,000 years ago consumed too much. Until now, they have not recovered. In his view, the human race should not have opened the heaven and earth restrictions so quickly. Now that the demon race had been expelled, and after a few thousand years of recuperation, many celestial beings would be born. But the facts did not allow it. The demon abyss was a problem. The human emperor was also a problem. If the heaven and earth restriction was not opened, the rules were not complete. Then the road to immortality was considered broken. Therefore, if the human emperor did not want to die, he must open the heaven and earth restriction. Now, the human race was fighting with their backs to the river. It was worth rejoicing. From the current results, the human race had won. Not a complete victory, but a temporary victory. Luo Xing did not dare to interrupt Qin Shujian's soliloquy. Then, Qin Shujian recovered from his contemplation and said faintly, "Is there any news from the divine race?" There is not much news from the divine race. They only have 1 Nirvana realm expert, the Divine Emperor, and a 10th level celestial being expert, the high priest of the divine race who was seriously injured by the sect leader. But there are many celestial beings on the divine race's side. Now that many powerful people have fallen, there are still no less than 10 powerful people guarding the divine race. But because the divine race controls the news more strictly, Yuan Pavilion did not get much news in a short time. Luo Xing answered all the questions. He had long been aware of this information. After all, Yuan Pavilion sometimes sold information in addition to issuing tasks. In general, that is, they would develop in all aspects, making Yuan Pavilion's business more comprehensive. Hearing this, Qin Shujian also had a certain understanding of the strength of the divine race. It was obvious. As a trader, the divine race had developed better than the human race. After all, the human race had been in an abyss of suffering in the eastern continent these years. It was only in the last few thousand years that they slowly improved. But compared to the accumulation of the divine race over the years, it was still far behind. However, there were some things that could not be taken lightly. Although the powerful people of the human race were not as strong as the divine race, a human emperor was enough to fight against dozens of powerful people. At this time, the effect of the strength of the strongest people of a race was revealed. Then, Luo Xing paused for a moment and said, "Recently, Yuan Pavilion also received another piece of news, but it is not sure if it is true or not." "What news?" "There are also mutants in the 3 major continents." "Are you sure?" Qin Shujian's expression changed slightly. This news was really beyond his expectations. There were also players in the 3 major continents. This was not a small piece of news. Judging from the situation of the players in the eastern continent, no one should know about the existence of the 3 major continents. There was no impenetrable wall in the world. If there were players in the other 3 major continents, then there would be news in the eastern continent. But since there was no news, then there was only one explanation. No players appeared in the 3 major continents. Or rather, in the real world where the players were, no one came to the 3 major continents. Qin Shujian's expression kept changing. If that was the case, the players in the 3 major continents and the players in the eastern continent might not be in the same world. There is more than one real world. Is it a parallel world or something else? How long have the players in the 3 major continents been here? Did they come in earlier or later than the players in the eastern continent? Or did they come in at the same time? If the players exist in multiple worlds, then are there also multiple worlds beyond this world? For a moment, many thoughts emerged in Qin Shujian's mind. Luo Xing's news had truly shocked him. If there were other players in the 3 major continents, this was not a small piece of news. If all the players came in at the same time, it would be fine. But if the players in the 3 major continents came in first, then with the development potential of the players, they would have accumulated a deep foundation by now. Once the players became a force, no one knew the horror of this race better than Qin Shujian. Do you know when the mutants in the 3 major continents appeared? There is no news for now. Investigate with all your might. Find out when the mutants in the 3 major continents arrived. It would be best if you could find out where these mutants came from. Yes, sir. P.S. Update first. The others are being written. Chapter 582. Coming out of Yuan Cabinet. Qin Shujian could not calm down for a long time. He thought that the players from the eastern continent were the only ones. Because the players from the eastern continent had been left far behind by him and did not pose any threat at all. Qin Shujian was not too worried. But now that new players had emerged from the 3 continents, it was worth paying attention to. He was not afraid of anything, just in case. If the new players had entered the game at the same time as the players from the eastern continent, it would be fine. But if these players had developed for hundreds or thousands of years, Qin Shujian felt a chill in his heart. However, after the shock, he gradually calmed down. From the situation of the previous war, not a single player from the 3 continents participated. With the nature of the players, it is impossible for them not to participate in such a war. In other words, the players from the 3 continents are not qualified to participate in the war. In such a war at the celestial level, players at least in the god martial arts realm can barely be cannon fodder. In this case, the players from the 3 continents should not have developed for too long. Qin Shujian recalled. During the war, no players intervened in the battle at the celestial level. He understood the character of the players. If a large number of players had broken through to the god martial arts realm, these players would definitely dare to form a team to hunt the Celestials. But no. In other words, the players from the 3 continents had not reached the point where they could pose a threat to the Celestials. With this deduction, the players from the 3 continents should be similar to the players from the eastern continent. As for whether there were players among the low-level cultivators who participated in the war, Qin Shujian really did not pay attention. This matter. Qin Shujian did not pay too much attention to it for the time being. He just asked Yuan Cabinet to collect information on the players. As for now, he had obtained the location of the Eldar and was ready to go to this race. On the other side, a group of players was fleeing in the wilderness. Behind them, many players were chasing after them. After an unknown period of time, the group of fleeing players gradually got rid of the pursuit. In a dense forest, Wang Renbin's face was dark. While his eyes were gloomy, they were also filled with disbelief and shock. As a wanted criminal of the imperial court, Wang Renbin had been waiting for an opportunity to leave the eastern continent. It was not until all the cultivators entered the passage to participate in the war that he led the players and took the opportunity to sneak in. After entering the battlefield, Wang Renbin led his men and fled. No one paid too much attention to a group of true martial realm cultivators. Occasionally, the shockwaves from the fights between experts would spread out and kill quite a number of players. After many of them dropped a level, the Wang clan finally escaped from the battlefield and officially entered the three great continents. Just as Wang Renbin was preparing to lead these 100 people to show their prowess in the three continents and develop the Wang family's influence, reality gave him a heavy blow. So, there were already other players in the three continents. Regarding this news, Wang Renbin was extremely shocked. He was sure that no one in the world he was in had entered the three continents. Therefore, after learning the news, Wang Renbin immediately had the same idea as Qin Shujian. The players of the three continents came from other worlds. In other words, the real world wasn't the only world. Wang Renbin's shock was needless to say. In the end, before he could figure out the situation, he was immediately chased by players from the three continents. Those players were about the same strength as them, but there were too many of them. Wang Renbin didn't want to fight a hopeless battle, so he could only temporarily retreat with his men. Until now, they had finally gotten rid of the pursuit. Young Master Wang, is there really a second world in the real world? A player panted, looking extremely shocked. If this news were to spread, it would be enough to shock the entire world. No, this news might have already spread out by now. It was just that they didn't go offline, so they weren't sure. Wang Renbin's gloomy face became solemn, and he said in a deep voice, "If nothing unexpected happens, that is indeed the case. But from the current situation, I'm afraid it's not as simple as having one more world." The world they were in had descended on the East continent. Then, another world had directly descended on the three great continents. This was somewhat unreasonable. The most likely reason was a world descending on a continent. Therefore, in Wang Renbin's opinion, perhaps there wasn't just one more world, but three more people from the world. However, he couldn't verify these guesses for the time being. But there was one thing that Wang Renbin was sure of. That was, the Wang family's idea of entering the three great continents first and then occupying a place was completely ruined. Not only were there players in the East continent, but there were also many other players. In terms of strength, they were not inferior to the East continent at all. As for how much these players had grown, Wang Renbin wasn't sure. Everyone, bind to the new resurrection point and go offline together. I need to report this back to the family. Wang Renbin gave a simple explanation and then disappeared from where he stood. The others looked at each other and went offline one after another. At this moment, the players' forum had completely exploded. The news of the new world had already spread when Wang Renbin went offline. In the real world, the Blade Master was originally walking in the city like an ordinary person, but his footsteps suddenly paused, and he heard many voices. Have you heard? There are players from other worlds in the three great continents. This news has already spread. Who doesn't know? I really didn't expect there to be other worlds outside our world. Didn't someone explore before, and there were no signs of life beyond the sky? Who knows, maybe there are places where life exists, and they are very far away from us. I heard that there isn't just one world in the three great continents, but there are players from all three worlds at the same time. The Blade Master was slightly stunned. Other worlds. Three worlds. This news came as a surprise to him. After pausing for a while, the Blade Master had already figured out the ins and outs of everything. TSK, You're really not afraid that you can't handle it. He looked up at the sky, which seemed to be densely covered by laws. The Blade Master shook his head, and fortunately, he didn't care about this matter anymore. It wasn't that he didn't want to care, but he really couldn't care so much. The sensation in the real world. For Qin Shujian, it didn't affect him much. After all, although the world he was in was somewhat related to the real world, they were two completely different worlds. At this moment, Qin Shujian was also on his way to Eldar. The three great continents were very big. Moreover, the teleportation gates built in each city were incomplete. This was because this place wasn't completely unified by the great Zhao dynasty like the East continent, but was ruled by all races. Although there were many races that would build cities in various places. These cities, other than building teleportation portals to their own cities, would not be connected to the cities of other races. The cities of Eldar. They were all near the Eldar. In this situation, there was no difference whether they took the teleportation portals or not. Every step Qin Shujian took was enough to cross thousands of rivers and mountains. The Eldar. In other words, the foundations of the races in the three great continents were not directly exposed to the outside world, but existed in secret realms one after another. These secret realms, they were all created by the powerhouses of the various races in the past. After countless years of development, they had reached a point where they could be used as the foundation of the races. These secret realms each had a roughly fixed area. As one of the ancient races, the Eldar's secret realms were no secret. At this moment, inside the Eldar's secret realms, there were countless mountains. Inside an incomparably huge palace, an old man opened his eyes from cultivation, and a puzzled expression flashed across his eyes. What's going on? Why do I feel uneasy all of a sudden? Is something about to happen? He was the great elder of the Eldar, Pan Huang. Excluding the Eldar Ling Huang, who was in seclusion, this Eldar Great Elder was the strongest. This time, many powerhouses of the Eldar had left the Earth Spirit's secret realm to besiege the human race. Pan Huang was still guarding this place and did not make any rash moves. This was to ensure the safety of the secret realm. At his level of cultivation, he would not have a sudden impulse for no reason. Once he had a sudden impulse, it meant that things were definitely not simple. Thinking of this, Pan Huang's expression turned gloomy, and his mind was filled with thoughts. This time, 3 powerhouses of my race died in battle. Could it be that some race thinks that our Eldar is weak and wants to take this opportunity to attack our Earth Spirit's secret realm? Could it be the other 5 elements Eldar, the Golden Horn Beast race, or the Heaven-Devouring Python race? Pan Huang kept making guesses. There were only so many races that the Eldar had a death feud with. No matter what, the Eldar was not a weak race. Although it was not as strong as the top races like the Monster race and the God race or the Ancient Buddha race, it was not a race that anyone could provoke. A race that had a feud with the Eldar and was not destroyed by the Eldar. In fact, only races of the same level could do that. Pan Huang was not sure. Which race was going to attack the Eldar? Thinking of this, Pan Huang immediately sent a message. Soon, 2 people walked in from outside. One was a burly middle-aged man with a resolute expression, and the other was an old man about the same age as Pan Huang. Divine Guardian Pan Yu, greets the Great Elder. Please take a seat. Seeing the arrival of the 2, Pan Huang's expression eased a little. The outside world only thought that the Eldar had 5 celestial beings, but that was not the case. Among them, he and the current Divine Guardian Pan Wu were the strongest. That was not the case. The Earth Spirit race also had another almighty expert, and that was the previous Divine Spirit Protector General, Pan Yu. Different from Pan Wu, Pan Yu was stronger and had reached the 9th level of the celestial being realm. However, the Eldar announced that Pan Yu had died of exhaustion and completely hid this top expert. There was only one reason for doing so. That was to increase the foundation of the Eldar, and at the same time, to catch the races that were plotting against the Eldar off guard. Great Elders summoned us. What happened? Before Pan Wu could speak, the previous Divine Guardian Pan Yu had already asked. He had entered seclusion. He was looking for an opportunity to break through to the 10th level of the celestial being realm. Pan Huang would not look for him if it was not necessary. Hearing that, Pan Huang's expression was solemn as he said, I feel uneasy. If I'm not wrong, there should be other races that want to harm our Eldar. Which race? Pan Yu's expression was also solemn. He did not question Pan Huang's words. It was normal for cultivators at their level to feel something. Especially Pan Huang, as the great elder of the Eldar, was connected to the Eldar's luck. He was more sensitive to many things. Pan Huang shook his head and said, I'm not sure yet. I feel something too. Pan Yu also sensed something and asked curiously, what's going on? Why did Pan Shan and the others' auras disappear? Pan Shan and the others have died. What? Pan Yu was shocked. He had been cultivating in seclusion and did not pay any attention to what happened to the Eldar. This time, after receiving Pan Huang's message, he came out of seclusion. As for Pan Shan's matter, Pan Yu did not know anything. Pan Huang did not speak. Pan Wu said in a deep voice, the human race opened the heaven and earth restriction of the eastern continent. Gods, demons, blood spirits, ancient Buddhas, and more than 10 other races besieged the human race. Unfortunately, they suffered a great defeat. Because of this, our race lost 3 mighty figures. Now, the only mighty figures left in the Eldar are you, me, and the Great Elder. His words. Pan Yu was shocked. Didn't the human race decline in the war 200,000 years ago? Why is the human race still so powerful now? The news of the human race's reappearance was shocking. However, what really shocked Pan Yu was the strength of the human race. So many races besieged the human race, but they still lost. Not only did they lose, but the Eldar also lost 3 mighty figures. When did this happen? A human trapped in the eastern continent had already possessed such strength. Pan Huang said, the human race is not strong. The real strong ones are the current emperor of the human race and another human. The emperor of the human race is very strong? Very strong. Pan Huang nodded and said with a sigh, the emperor fought against the immortal emperor, the demon emperor, the bloodling Huang, and the ancient Buddha emperor. In the end, the 4 emperors were severely injured and fled. It was because of this that the attack on the human race failed. Moreover, in the human race, other than the emperor, there is also a terrifying expert who severely injured the high priest of the god race. In addition, the human race has at least 2 Zubing. Although the human race does not have many experts, with such a foundation, the other races have no way to fight against them. Pan Yu fell into a daze. Fighting against 4 emperors alone. 2 Zubing. This news was simply too shocking. In comparison, it was easier to accept that the human race had an expert who could severely injure the high priest of the god race. In other words, the human race now has 2 supreme experts and 2 Zubing. Pan Yu, who understood, took a deep breath. If that was the case, the defeat of the other races was pardonable. With such strength, unless the other races really did not care about the cost of casualties, it would not be easy to destroy the human race. Pan Huang said, we can put the matter of the human race aside for now. I can feel that the Earth Eldar's fate is turbulent. There must be other experts who want to take advantage of the fact that our Eldar is weak to attack us. Now that the Emperor is in seclusion, with the 3 of us guarding the Earth's spirit secret realm and the help of our race's fate, even if the supreme experts of the other races come, we are confident that we can fight them. Pan Wu said in a deep voice, if the other races want to attack our Eldar, they have to consider whether they can bear the price. In response to Pan Huang's words, he was not too worried. The Earth Spirit's secret realm was the base of the Earth Eldar. For hundreds of thousands of years, or even millions of years, the Earth Eldar had given birth to many experts. At its peak, there were even true immortals among the Eldar. The secret realm they were in now, it had been nurtured by generations of experts. To put it bluntly, the current Earth Spirit secret realm was no different from a small world. Here, the Earth Eldar was the strongest. It was not easy to forcefully enter the Earth Spirit secret realm from the outside world. Even if the supreme experts of the other races wanted to break through, it was impossible. Because of a secret realm, it was the foundation of a race. The most powerful means of a race was the secret realm of their race. Pan Huang said, It's better to be careful. It is not a problem for us to guard the Earth's spirit secret realm, but I am afraid that the other party will use some means to divide our strength. So from now on, no one is allowed to leave the Earth's spirit secret realm. All the people in the outside world should return to the secret realm. Without my order, anyone who dares to leave will be punished as traitors. No problem. At this time, we should be more cautious. Pan Wu and Pan Yu did not object. Then, Pan Huang gave the order as the great elder of the Earth Eldar. Soon, the order was sent out of the secret realm. All the Earth Eldar that existed in various places rushed back without hesitation after receiving the order. What's wrong with the Earth Eldar? Why did they all retreat? I'm not sure. Could it be that other races are attacking the Earth Spirit's secret realm? It's possible. When the players from the 3 continents saw this scene, they started to think about what to do next. If there was really a race war, then it would be a powerful battle. In the face of such a war, there would definitely be many missions. If they could participate, there would be many benefits. A player laughed and said, "In the last race war, we were too weak to accept missions. We can't miss it this time." I heard that many experts died in that battle. The Earth Spirit clan even lost a few almighties. Judging from the situation, could it be that the other clans saw through the Earth Spirit clan's weakness and wanted to take advantage of it to attack? There were also players who voiced their guesses. Hearing this, immediately, someone replied, "Who cares if they're taking advantage of the situation? Anyway, let's go to the Earth Spirit's secret realm and take a look. But we have to be careful not to let the bastards from the Red Jade Great World and the 9 Moons Great World interfere." Humph, this is our Western continent's business. If those bastards from the 2 Great Worlds dare to come in, they'll have to drop at least 1 level before they can leave. That's true, but we still have to keep the news a secret. Those 2 Great Worlds have noses as sharp as dogs. If there's news, they won't let go of this opportunity. F***CK them. If I have the chance, I'll definitely teach those players from the 2 Great Worlds a lesson. At the mention of the Red Jade Great World and the 9 Moons Great World, many players looked angry. It was different from the Eastern continent. The 3 continents had always been connected. Therefore, the players from the 3 continents had always been in conflict. There had even been a few battles between the players. However, the players were immortal, and there were too many players in each continent. Every time a war broke out, it would end without a conclusion. Just as the Earth Eldar had all retreated back into the Earth Spirit realm, Qin Shujian had finally arrived at the Earth Eldar's territory. Looking at the Earth Eldar city in front of him, he simply glanced at it and did not pay any attention to it. In the city, although there were remnants of the Earth Eldar's aura, there was not a single Earth Eldar's clansman. If he guessed correctly, the Earth Eldar must have sensed something and made such a move. Regarding this, Qin Shujian was not surprised, because the 6th sense of a powerhouse was particularly strong. If someone wanted to harm him or Yuanzong at this time, Qin Shujian would be able to sense it immediately. The same logic. If he wanted to harm the Earth Eldar, the Earth Eldar's powerhouses would definitely sense it. "Senior, can you sense where the Earth Spirit realm is located?" Qin Shujian stood where he was and spread out his divine thought, covering the entire space within 10,000 miles. But after a few breaths, there was nothing. According to the information from Yuanzong, the location of the Earth Eldar's secret realm was definitely within 10,000 miles of here. In the Sea of Consciousness, the Godslayer trembled and wisps of sword chi overflowed. After a while, a low voice sounded, 3,000 miles to your left is the Earth Eldar's secret realm. Hearing this, Qin Shujian followed the Godslayer's instructions and walked 3,000 miles forward. Looking at the surrounding mountains, his divine thought carried out a carpet search. After a while, Qin Shujian gave up the idea of searching. "Senior, are you sure that the Earth Eldar's secret realm exists here?" "Yes. These ancient races' secret realms were all created by the ancient true immortals in the past. Although they exist by relying on the surrounding space, they are also integrated with this space. If there is no specific way to open the entrance of the secret realm, unless your perception has reached an extremely strong level, you won't be able to sense anything," the Godslayer explained. How could a space created by an ancient true immortal be simple? Qin Shujian was silent for a moment and said, then with Zhu Bing's sharpness, can he forcefully break open the secret realm? Of course. At the mention of Zhu Bing, the Godslayer's tone became arrogant. Zhu Bing is the most powerful divine weapon in the world. He can even kill an ancient true immortal, let alone a space created by an ancient true immortal. In that case, there is no need to waste any time. Qin Shujian smiled. It was good that Zhu Bing could break open it. Since he knew that the secret realm existed here, there was no need to waste time looking for it bit by bit. Sometimes, breaking through with brute force was the most effective. Immediately, a stone saber appeared in Qin Shujian's hand. Chapter 583. In the Earth Spirit Secret Realm. Ever since Pan Huang called back all the Eldar, the Earthly Spirit Secret Realm had gathered all the power of the Earthly Spirit Clan. At the same time, the atmosphere in the Earth Spirit Secret Realm was heavy. Inside the palace, Pan Huang suddenly opened his eyes as if he had found something. Pan Wu and Pan Yu also looked towards the sky at the same time. Over there, they saw a stone knife tearing the Earth Spirit Secret Realm apart. At this moment, all the Eldar raised their heads and looked at the sky. There should have been nothing there but a stone knife was tearing the Earth Spirit Secret Realm apart. Then, two huge hands reached in from the outside and violently tore the crack into a huge hole. Rumble. As the sky was torn apart, the Earth Spirit Secret Realm seemed to be stimulated. The entire Earth Spirit Secret Realm started to boil. The mountains were shaking. The mountains seemed to come alive one after another. They stood up from the ground and roared at the hands that were tearing the sky apart. How dare you trespass into my Earth Spirit Secret Realm? Pan Huang roared and took a step forward. His body turned into a flowing light and disappeared. At the same time, a mountain that was 10,000 feet tall was completely revived. It turned into a huge stone man and roared angrily. The face of the stone man. It looked exactly like Pan Huang. This was the original form of the Eldar. Any Eldar was actually the form of mountains and earth veins. At this moment, Pan Wu and Pan Yu also called out their original forms. Then, the three stone men stood in the sky and coldly stared at the hands that were tearing the sky apart. As the three stone men appeared, the Earthly Spirit Clan members, who had been in a panic, calmed down at this moment. Qin Shujian of the human race is here to collect the debt. A deep voice rang out, and a huge palm came crashing down from the hole. Pan Huang was shocked. He also countered with a palm strike. Boom! The two palms collided. The terrifying power reverberated in the Earth Spirit Secret Realm as if it was going to tear the secret realm apart. To this, Pan Huang took a step forward and rushed out of the Earth Spirit Secret Realm. At the same time, Pan Wu and Pan Yu did the same. Qin Shujian of the human race. This title, to the Earthen Eldar, it could be said to be like thunder in their ears. After all, two of the three fallen Eldar Almighties were killed by the other party. In addition to the other party's battle record, when it came to reputation, Qin Shujian was already not much worse than the rulers of some races. Outside, Qin Shujian violently tore apart the Earth Spirit Secret Realm and launched an attack inside. He did not go in without permission. After all, no matter what, it was still the enemy's headquarters. Under such circumstances, all he had to do was to attack them from the outside and force them out. As for not coming out, Qin Shujian was not worried at all. Anyway, with the Godslayer in his hands, tearing a secret realm apart was as easy as eating and drinking. If he didn't come out, he would just squat outside the Earth Spirit Secret Realm and stab his opponent from time to time. Even if he couldn't tear the Earth Spirit Secret Realm apart, it was enough to disgust his opponent. As expected, after being attacked, the experts from the Earth Spirit Secret Realm did not dare to start a fight in the Secret Realm, so they walked out directly. Outside, three giants stood proudly between heaven and earth. Qin Shujian did not use his celestial body. Instead, he flew to the same height as all the stone men and looked at them, looking at the human in front of them. None of the three Eldar Almighties dared to underestimate him. Looking at Qin Shujian, Pan Huang said coldly, "Sir, you came to my Earth Spirit secret realm to cause trouble. Do you want to start a war with my Eldar?" As for Qin Shujian, Pan Huang was extremely fearful. Such a powerhouse. If it wasn't necessary, he really didn't want to be enemies with him. Hearing that, Qin Shujian sneered and said, "So what if we start a war? I'm here to start a war. Your Eldar dared to besiege the human race some time ago. Now, I'm here to collect the debt. The human race is very strong, but my Eldar is not weak either. If you start a war with my Eldar, it won't be a good thing for the human race." Pan Huang warned. Qin Shujian said, "It's none of your business. Today, I'm here to collect the debt from the Eldar. If you give me 2 drops of Ling Huang's blood essence, I'll turn around and leave without another word." Ling Huang's blood essence. The faces of the 3 immediately darkened. The emperor was the dignity of a race. At this moment, if they really gave Ling Huang's blood essence, the Eldar would lose face. Pan Huang said gloomily, "Don't be too presumptuous. My emperor is a Nirvana realm powerhouse. Although you're very strong, you might not be a match for him. Since you don't want to give it to me, I'll take it myself. I also want to see how strong Ling Huang is." Qin Shujian couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. Celestial body. A body that was tens of thousands of feet tall appeared. Although it wasn't as tall as the Eldar's body, it wasn't too far off. In the next moment, Qin Shujian slashed out with his saber. The saber was the blood of 1,000 mountains. It was better to leave something like the Godslayer to deal with Ling Huang. The saber tore through the void, causing the expressions of Pan Huang and the others to change. Kill. There was no hesitation. The 3 earthly spirit clan experts attacked at the same time. Boom! The long river of laws appeared vaguely, and the terrifying power shattered the void. Qin Shujian fought against the 3 of them alone. His saber slashed down from the sky, annihilating all the power that came at him. Boom! Boom! The 4 of them fought, and the power was earth-shattering. Only 4 terrifying giants could be seen fighting crazily. The aftermath of the battle. It flattened all the mountains within tens of thousands of miles. With the Earth Spirit Realm as the foundation, the land within millions of miles was the territory of the Earth Eldar. Moreover, there were no other races in the Earth Spirit Clan's territory. Therefore, although the fluctuations here were strong, it didn't attract the attention of the other powerhouses. 2 9th-level celestial being powerhouses. 1 8th-level celestial being powerhouse. When Qin Shujian saw Pan Huang and the others, he knew that the Earth Eldar had indeed hidden his strength. However, this was also within his expectations. 1 more 9th-level celestial being, 1 less 9th-level celestial being, for Qin Shujian, was within the range that he could bear. But judging from the current situation, Ling Huang was indeed in seclusion. After I kill you, let's see if Ling Huang really won't come out. Qin Shujian laughed. The blood of 1,000 mountains erupted with a terrifying cold light, directly tearing apart the long river of laws. At the same time, a terrifying power spread from his body, bursting the surrounding territory. Boom! The power of laws descended. In an instant, Qin Shujian's strength soared. The saber energy was so condensed that it was solid. The destructive power lingered around the saber, and everywhere it passed, the void was shattered. 28,500 combat power. After using lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, it had soared to the 60,000 mark. Coupled with the increase of the power of laws, at this time, Qin Shujian, his combat power had officially broken through the 100,000 mark. 100,000 combat power. This was the foundation of an immortal. In other words, the current Qin Shujian was not much weaker than an ancient true immortal who did not use the power of laws. The saber energy slashed down. The guardian divine General Pan Wu seemed to feel the aura of destruction. When his expression changed drastically, he also shrank the power of the territory to his body and then turned it into a huge defensive barrier. At the same time, Pan Huang and Pan Yu's attacks also erupted, wanting to resolve the crisis of Pan Wu. Boom! The saber slashed down on the barrier. The terrifying power instantly tore the barrier apart. As Pan Wu roared, The blood of 1,000 mountains slashed heavily on the other party's body. Swoosh! The terrifying saber light split a 10,000 feet tall stone man into two. Just as Pan Wu fell, the two's attacks also bombarded Qin Shujian's body. The effect of the 9 tribulations' immortal body was shown at this time. The power that was enough to destroy the world was bombarded. It only cracked Qin Shujian's body, but it quickly recovered. Go, devour the power of his flesh and blood. Qin Shujian asked Zhang Feng, who was like an invisible person, to devour the flesh and blood of the fallen Pan Wu. Although the other party was a mountain in human form, but in fact, at this point, he had already broken free from the shackles of his essence and had the flesh and blood power of a living creature. At this moment, 2 9th-level celestial beings were in front of him. Qin Shujian did not have the time to refine Pan Wu. Besides, the energy that refining an 8th-level celestial being could give him could only be said to not be of much use to him now. Hearing that, Zhang Feng suddenly moved. Black blood mist surged and instantly enveloped the 10,000-foot-tall corpse. Everything happened in an instant. Not long after the battle began, the Guardian Divine General of the Earth Eldar had already fallen. Pan Huang and Pan Yu were both angry and frightened. This was the suppression of strength. The strength that was comparable to that of an emperor was not something that a few mighty figures could contend against. To be able to deal with an emperor, only an emperor could do it. After killing Pan Wu with one slash and harvesting a wave of life force, Qin Shujian's gaze fell on the remaining two. If I kill all of you, even if the Earth Eldar still has an Earthling Huang, he won't be able to hold on for long. Erase. An emperor was a stabilizing force. However, a celestial being was also indispensable. If all the mighty figures of a race died and only one emperor was left, then the race would not be far from destruction. As soon as he finished speaking, Pan Huang and Pan Yu's expressions changed drastically. Then, Pan Huang roared, I am the great elder of the Earth Eldar, Pan Huang. Now that a powerful enemy has invaded the Earth Eldar, please help me kill the enemy. Rumble. A vast aura of providence rose into the air. The Earth Eldar and the Earth Spirit's secret realm all shouted in unison, help the great elder kill the enemy. Help the great elder kill the enemy. Help the great elder kill the enemy. His mind soared into the sky and directly broke through the Earth Spirit's secret realm. At this moment, Qin Shujian felt as if the surrounding world was rejecting him. That was the disgust of the Earth Eldar's luck. Right now, I really look like a big villain. He could now see the angry Earth Eldar through the Earth Spirit's secret realm, and he could also feel the fighting intent of the Eldar's luck. The current him, he was like a villain who forced the Eldar, and the Eldar wanted to work together to destroy him, the enemy. Seeing this, Qin Shujian shook his head and put away the mountain blood. Then, he took out the God-Slayer, however. I think I am a decent person. He was a human. The Earth Eldar was an enemy race. If he killed the Earth Eldar now, in the eyes of the human race, Qin Shujian would be a hero. Now, the Earth Eldar's luck was vast. A large amount of luck poured into Pan Huang's body, causing his aura to soar. In the blink of an eye, he broke through the limit of the 9th level of the celestial being and reached the 10th level of the celestial being. His aura swept across the world. The skyrocketing power filled Pan Huang's heart with endless confidence. Qin Shujian, how dare you kill my Earth Spirit Clan's divine guardian? Today, I'll kill you right here and now, so that the human race will lose a sovereign. Boom. The fist shattered the vacuum. The long river of laws turned into a terrifying domain and descended. Qin Shujian raised his eyebrows and looked at the terrifying attack. The god-slaying saber emitted an endless amount of sharpness and suddenly charged towards Pan Huang. The other party had reached the 10th level of the celestial being with the help of luck. However, such a 10th level celestial being did not have the same improvement in his comprehension of laws. Strictly speaking, he could only be considered a fake 10th level celestial being because his comprehension of laws was still at the 9th level of the celestial being. But even so, Pan Huang's strength also soared. Facing such an expert, Qin Shujian also had to be careful. On the other side, Pan Yu also unleashed all his power and attacked Qin Shujian. Strictly speaking, the current Divine Guardian was his personal disciple. Pan Wu died. It was also a huge blow to Pan Yu. Apart from that, in Pan Yu's opinion, Qin Shujian's threat was too great. If such an expert was not killed, the Earth Eldar would never have a day of peace. Just as the battle broke out in the distance, a group of hundreds of players was hiding in a sunken ground. They looked up at the three giants who were fighting and the terrifying power they emitted. It made them tremble in fear. F*CK. They're so F*King strong. The second strongest human expert in the Eastern continent is indeed extremely powerful. The one who died just now was the Earth Eldar's Divine Guardian, right? I heard that his strength was at the 8th or 9th level of the celestial being, but he was killed with a single slash. The battle in front of them made these players curse in a low voice, but they did not dare to show their faces easily. They originally thought that it was a war between two races and wanted to take this opportunity to get some missions and gain some benefits. In the end, a war was a war. But it was not a war between races as they thought. Instead, it was a human expert challenging an Eldar expert. To be honest, this kind of strength was really fascinating. A player said enviously, to be able to kill an 8th or 9th level celestial being expert with a single slash, this human expert strength is really terrifying. If he can walk out of the real world, he's probably comparable to the strongest experts in our desolate great world. Probably. The person next to him replied with uncertainty. The three continents had a total of players from 3 worlds. The Desolate Great World, the Red Jade Great World, and the 9 Moons Great World. The players in the Western continent came from the Desolate Great World. Someone shook his head and said, "What are you thinking? Although the experts in this world are powerful, it's actually just an illusory game world. How can there be a chance to walk out? I just don't know who created this game to be so realistic. I'm guessing that it must be a powerful existence who created this world with his own hands." A player casually replied. The origin of the game world was an extremely mysterious existence to the 3 great worlds. There were experts in each great world who were exploring the origin of this game and the meaning of its existence. However, those things were handled by the top experts in each world. They, who entered the world to find opportunities to improve their cultivation, were not qualified to care so much. What should we do? Are we just going to watch? What can we do if we don't watch? Can't you see that these big bosses are ridiculously strong? With just the few of us, the aftershock from the battle will be enough to wipe us out. It's not a bad idea to watch. Perhaps watching such experts fight will be of some help to our cultivation in the future. That being said, however, some players were still a little jealous when they saw Pan Wu fall. Usually, against such a powerhouse, there was no way they could defeat him. Now that Pan Wu had fallen, there might be some treasures left behind. If they could loot the corpse, even if these players died once, they would still go over to loot the corpse. However, Pan Wu was surrounded by a black and red blood mist. No one dared to enter. Any normal person could see that. There must be a big problem with that black and red blood mist. At this moment, the battle was still ongoing. With the help of Eldar's luck, Pan Huang's strength had also increased greatly. But even so, facing Qin Shujian's attacks, he was still retreating. Fake Celestial being level 10. His control of the rules was not enough, and there was no way to eliminate the rule power on Qin Shujian's body. If that was the case, with the increase of the rule power, Qin Shujian could even wrestle with a Nirvana Realm expert. In addition to the power of the Godslayer, although he could not fully unleash it. However, he only activated a little bit. It also had the power to destroy the world. So, although Pan Huang's attacks were heavy, Qin Shujian's attacks were even more fierce. As for Pan Yu, he had been completely reduced to a support. Boom. Kill. Qin Shujian's left hand turned into a fist and collided with Pan Yu's fist. Under the impact of the terrifying power, the stone-like arm cracked, and blood seeped out from it. At the same time, the Godslayer slashed out, but its target was Pan Huang. Pan Huang roared angrily. His fist drew the long river of laws and smashed down. The terrifying power turned the space within 10,000 miles into turbulence. The next second, Qin Shujian took a step forward, suppressing the void. He held the Godslayer with both hands and slashed out fiercely. The saber light tore through the sky. Facing such an attack, Pan Huang was shocked. He did not dare to face Zhu Bing directly and immediately retreated. At this moment, the Godslayer changed the direction of its attack and locked onto Pan Yu. Just as Pan Yu was about to dodge, spirit severing, his divine will turned into a saber and slashed out, violently bombarding Pan Yu's body. His divine will suffered a terrifying attack. It made Pan Yu fall into a short daze. Qin Shujian endured the discomfort in his mind and slashed down with the Godslayer. Help! The threat of death woke Pan Yu up instantly. However, it was already too late. The Godslayer slashed down and completely swallowed Pan Yu. Then, Qin Shujian grabbed Pan Yu's body. The red lotus of purgation burned and completely swallowed Pan Yu's body. He was too lazy to swallow Pan Wu before, nor did he have the time to do so. He could not waste Pan Yu now. No matter what, he was still a 9th level heaven being expert. More importantly, after killing Pan Yu, Pan Huang, the great elder of the Eldar, was also stunned. Looking at Pan Yu's body being refined by the red lotus of purgation, as well as Qin Shujian, who was holding Zhu Bing in one hand and Pan Yu's corpse in the other, there was uncontrollable fear in his eyes. He was scared. At this moment, he was really scared. Even with the blessing of the Eldar's luck, Pan Huang did not have any confidence. The strength that Qin Shujian displayed, it gave him the illusion that he was facing the emperor of a large clan. That kind of power, it was not something that a 10th level heaven being like him could deal with. Other than worrying about his own safety, Pan Huang was even more worried about the safety of the entire Eldar. At this moment, Pan Wu and Pan Yu had died. If even he died, then other than Ling Huang, there was no other Eldar who could control the situation. I'll say it again. Hand over 2 drops of Ling Huang's blood essence, and I can let your Eldar go. Otherwise, your Eldar can wait to be exterminated. Qin Shujian sneered and threatened. He was still a little afraid of Ling Huang. After all, Pan Huang had the blessing of the Eldar's luck and had reached such a level. If Ling Huang attacked with all his strength, the other party's strength might not be much weaker than the Demon Emperor and the Divine Emperor. After all, this was the Eldar's territory. However, Qin Shujian was not too afraid. At this moment, he had killed 2 Eldar Almighties and could leave at any time. Even if Ling Huang attacked, he could not keep him. Hearing this, Pan Huang did not reply. Instead, he shook the Eldar's luck and turned it into a thought that reverberated in the Eldar. The Eldar has encountered a strong enemy. My Emperor, please make a move. Then, a terrifying force awakened in the Earth Spirit's secret realm. A powerful aura. Even the Earth Spirit's secret realm could not hide it and directly rushed outside. At that moment, the emperors of all the races were alarmed and looked in the direction of the Eldar. Just now, they sensed the aura of Ling Huang, the emperor of a race. No matter how weak the emperor was, he was still worthy of the attention of all the races. So, the moment Ling Huang's aura appeared, all the races received the news. When Ling Huang's aura recovered, Qin Shujian's expression also became solemn. In his hand, Pan Yu's corpse was still being refined. In the Earth Spirit's secret realm, a stone man that was tens of thousands of feet tall woke up from his deep sleep, and his vast divine consciousness swept out. When the stone man awoke, Yi Zichen was stunned. In the Earth Spirit's secret realm, many Eldar prostrated themselves. Greetings, my Emperor. Who dares to invade my Eldar? Ling Huang ignored the Eldar. Instead, he raised his head to look at the sky of the secret realm that had recovered. Then, he tore the secret realm with both hands and stepped out. In the outside world, with the appearance of Ling Huang, the Eldar's luck that gathered on Pan Huang's body suddenly dissipated, causing his realm to fall back. However, Pan Huang did not panic at all. Instead, he bowed to Ling Huang. Greetings, my Emperor. What happened? Where are the others? Ling Huang did not seem to be completely awake as he looked at Pan Huang and asked. Pan Huang replied respectfully, My Emperor, Pan Shan and the others have fallen in the hands of the humans. Pan Wu and Pan Yu were also killed by the humans in front of me. I am no match for them, so I have no choice but to ask for your help." "What?" The Earth Spirit Emperor came to his senses completely and was enraged. Chapter 584. Di Ling Huang, Eldar's ultimate powerhouse. When he saw the other party appear, Qin Shujian's mind was already solemn. Before the other party could make a move, he had already turned his divine will into a blade and slashed out. At the same time, the Godslayer erupted with shocking power. In an instant, it shattered the void and charged towards Di Ling Huang. This slash, it was Qin Shujian's peak slash with the help of the rule power that he could still use. That flash of blade light, it was as if it could split heaven and earth. Di Ling Huang was shocked. He couldn't care less about his anger and immediately responded. He only saw the long river of rule power surging. A mountain peak that was almost solid appeared. That was another form of the domain. Facing such an attack, Di Ling Huang didn't even think of opening the domain and then devouring Qin Shujian. Because in his opinion, a powerhouse who could unleash such an attack must have extremely powerful control of the rule power. Even if he opened the domain himself, it wouldn't have any effect on it. Fighting against a powerhouse of the same level, it was never one's domain that devoured another's domain. Instead, it was borrowing the power of the rule power to unleash one's strongest power. As for using the domain to weaken it, that was just a way for a powerhouse of a higher realm to crush a cultivator of a lower realm. It was also because of this. After breaking through to the 7th level of the celestial being, Almighties were rarely afraid of being besieged. The reason was, it was because of the existence of the domain. But just as the long river of rule power turned into a mountain peak, Di Ling Huang felt that the spirit god had suffered an impact, causing him to be stunned for a moment. Soon, Di Ling Huang woke up. At this moment, that flash of blade light was about to touch his face. There was no hesitation. The long river of rule power surged. The mountain peak shattered the void and collided with the Godslayer. Boom! Zhu Bing's edge was unstoppable. The mountain peak condensed by the long river of rule power was directly torn apart. The stone blade's momentum didn't stop and slashed heavily on Di Ling Huang's body. Bang! Di Ling Huang was sent flying, smashing through countless voids. His tens of thousands of feet tall body was almost split into two by the stone saber. Blood splattered everywhere. The scene suddenly fell into a terrifying silence. On the other side, after severely injuring Ling Huang with one slash, Qin Shujian grabbed the red lotus that was refining Pan Yu and shouted, "Let's go." After saying this, he had already broken through the void and left. Jiang Feng, who was devouring Pan Wu, received the order and immediately fled behind Qin Shujian. At this moment, Jiang Feng, although he didn't completely devour much of Pan Wu's power, however, the other party was a powerhouse at the 8th level of the celestial being realm. The energy contained in his body was not something a first-level celestial being could compare to, even if he had absorbed quite a lot of it. The injuries on Jiang Feng's body had also completely recovered. Not only that, his strength had even broken through to the 2nd level of the sky-human realm. When Qin Shujian and Jiang Feng left, Pan Huang didn't even try to stop him. "It's not that I don't want to." He didn't react at all. He never expected that the moment Di Ling Huang appeared, he would be severely injured by Qin Shujian. The strength that the other party displayed, it made Pan Huang terrified. Obviously, Qin Shujian hid his strength very well. When he fought with them, he didn't show his true strength at all. Until Di Ling Huang appeared. Only then did he erupt. That slash, Pan Huang felt the aura of death and destruction. Without a doubt, with his strength, if he encountered a slash that could severely injure Di Ling Huang, he would definitely die. Now Qin Shujian had escaped. In Pan Huang's opinion, the other party might be an arrow at the end of its flight. But even so, he didn't dare to chase after him. Afraid. Pan Huang was afraid of death. In addition, now that Di Ling Huang was severely injured for no reason, he knew that he couldn't die. Once he died, if Di Ling Huang was seriously injured again, then even with the Earth spirit realm, he might not be able to block the attacks of other races. That was Di Ling Huang? The players, who had been reduced to spectators, were all stunned. Di Ling Huang. Without a doubt, that was indeed Di Ling Huang. With a body of tens of thousands of feet, Pan Huang, the great Eldar Elder, was like a younger brother in front of the other party. And the powerful aura that he emitted, it was already enough to make people's hearts tremble. That terrifying aura, it had already exceeded their imagination. It was as if the supreme experts of the desolate great world were inferior. However, such an expert was severely injured by Qin Shujian with a single slash. These players didn't know Qin Shujian's strength, but the other party had severely injured Ling Huang with a single slash and left. Obviously, he had consumed a lot of energy. However, no matter how much energy he had consumed, to be able to severely injure an expert of this level with a single slash was also a shocking thing. The surrounding players, now, they were also in a daze. After hearing this, they said hesitantly, it should be Di Ling Huang. Hearing this, the hearts of all the players were beating violently. There was no other reason. It was purely because of nervousness. They didn't expect that they would encounter such a shocking battle when they just wanted to come over to freeload a few missions. Some players looked at the severely injured Di Ling Huang. That slash had almost split the Emperor in half, and blood was still flowing nonstop. Blood fell to the ground. Like rolling magma, it corroded the ground. The blood of a clan's emperor could easily suppress an ordinary celestial cultivator. Such blood dripped to the ground. One could imagine the destruction it caused. Do you think we have a chance to kill this boss? At the moment, Di Ling Huang looked as if he would die at any moment. A heavily injured and dying boss was an irresistible temptation. If they could kill Di Ling Huang, the experience points they would obtain would probably allow them to break through to the celestial realm. However, after hearing this player's words, the others looked at him as if they were looking at a fool. It was true that Di Ling Huang was heavily injured, but even if he was heavily injured, he was still the strongest of a clan. An existence of this level, not to mention alive. Even if he was dead, the aura on his body could suppress them. If they really attacked, then it wouldn't be Di Ling Huang being killed. It would be sending him to his death. The gaze of his teammate, it made that player's face a little hot, and then he flew into a rage out of humiliation. Yes, that's right. He was tempted by Di Ling Huang, but he made a slip of the tongue. There was no need to do this. On the other side, Qin Shujian had already left Eldar's territory while devouring the Red Lotus. Running away after one slash was his current strategy. There was no other way. Using an ancestral armament consumed an enormous amount of energy. With his current strength, he was only able to use an ancestral armament once. Furthermore, he would not be able to unleash all of the ancestral armament's might. According to what the God-slaying saber said, that was, with his current strength, he could at most unleash 30% of Zhu Bing's power. However, even 30% of its power was enough to destroy heaven and earth. After all, Godslayer at its peak was an existence that could even kill an ancient true immortal. 30% of its power could severely injure Di Ling Huang. It was a piece of cake. It's just that Di Ling Huang seems to be a little retarded. Qin Shujian sighed. Really, he had never felt so good about slashing. Di Ling Huang was like a hothead. He didn't use his domain to weaken his rules. Instead, he relied on his own strength to withstand that peak slash. Qin Shujian estimated. With all his various buffs, his combat strength had already exceeded the 100,000 mark. Coupled with the 30% of Godslayer's power, the power that he could unleash, it was at least 3 to 500,000. When Di Ling Huang first appeared, Qin Shujian used his Dharma Eye to see that the other party was still at the 10th level of the celestial being realm. He hadn't really broken through to the Nirvana realm, but to be able to become the emperor of a clan, it wasn't something that could be measured simply by realm. With Di Ling Huang's strength, he could also defeat an ordinary Nirvana realm expert in one battle. It was a pity. Di Ling Huang misjudged Qin Shujian's realm and the sharpness of Godslayer. In the end, He was severely injured by the slash. However, Di Ling Huang's strength is really strong. I thought that the slash could kill him, but in the end, he was only seriously injured. Qin Shujian felt a little regretful. If he could kill Di Ling Huang, perhaps this time he could destroy the entire Eldar by himself. But it was a pity. He failed. In the end, it was because he wasn't strong enough to kill Di Ling Huang. Thinking of Di Ling Huang's strength, Qin Shujian silently absorbed the power of the Red Lotus to recover his own consumption. If I can break through to the 6th level of the Celestial Being Realm and activate Zubing in my peak state, I should be able to kill Di Ling Huang. The premise is that the other party stands there and slashes at me. Yes, slashes at each other. Just like just now, Di Ling Huang was like a hothead. He directly used his own strength to block Godslayer's attack. Or else, it was still a little difficult. In terms of his own strength, Qin Shujian was actually not much different from the emperors of various clans. There was really a gap. It was in the use of the rules. The difference between the increase of the rules and the increase of the rules was very big. If it weren't for this problem, Qin Shujian would have rolled up his sleeves and gone against Di Ling Huang. Unfortunately, he couldn't. This gap was the reason why he couldn't really fight against the emperor. Although he had the deterrent power of the emperor, but he didn't have the endurance of the emperor. Back and forth, it was just that slash. After it was done, it was gone. Qin Shujian sighed and said, "When can I last a little longer? Not too long, but at least a few more slashes." In that case, he wouldn't be as embarrassed as he was now. Di Ling Huang was seriously injured, and he couldn't even deal the final blow. If he could deal the final blow, not to mention 2 drops of Di Ling Huang's blood essence, even if it was all of the blood essence, he could get it. If you want to activate Zhu Bing, you either have to consume vital essence or infuse the power of the rules. Godslayer suddenly replied and said, "When you break through to the 7th level of the Celestial Being Realm in the future, you should be able to last a little longer." 7th level of the Celestial Being Realm. Qin Shujian looked at the source of life, and then at the Guiyuan ancestral canon. This request was a little difficult. The source of life had not exceeded 10 billion. The road to improvement was still far away. After silently absorbing the Red Lotus, Qin Shujian replenished all the energy he had consumed. "Go, let's go to the Eldar again." Looking at Zhang Feng, who was standing there motionless, he said lightly. His strength had been restored. He would definitely come back again. On the other side, there was dead silence in the Earth Spirit's secret realm. Just now, 2 celestial beings had died in battle, and Di Ling Huang was seriously injured. Such an unforeseen event. It made the entire Eldar fall into panic. Pan Huang didn't care about these trivial matters at this time. In the main hall, the Earth Spirit Emperor transformed into a middle-aged man and sat on the main seat. Pan Huang sat on the seat below him. "Tell me what happened." Di Ling Huang was completely awake now. He was seriously injured by a slash. He had to wake up even if he wasn't. He had been in seclusion for so long. Just as he was about to break through to the Nirvana realm, he was summoned by Pan Huang. So what if he came out? It wasn't a big problem. As soon as he came out, he was seriously injured. He was about to break through to the Nirvana realm, but because of this problem, it had to be delayed for a long time. However, what really made Di Ling Huang angry was that not only was he seriously injured, but the Eldar's almighty experts had almost died. He went into seclusion once. The Earth Spirit Clan's top-notch experts were almost wiped out. Although the Eldar were all mountain spirits, Di Ling Huang was still so angry that his liver hurt. Pan Huang didn't hide anything and told him everything that had happened recently. Di Ling Huang's expression was gloomy as he said, "We should have wiped out the human race 200,000 years ago. The hateful demon race left the heavenly demon temple in the East continent, which led to the revival of the human race." After learning about these things, not only was he angry at the human race, but he was also dissatisfied with the demon race. If the demon race hadn't left the heavenly demon temple in the East continent, with the power of the heavenly demon temple, they could have crossed the heavy river. How could the heaven-earth restriction of the East continent stop the myriad races? However, Di Ling Huang was just saying that. Now that the Eldar had suffered heavy losses, it couldn't be separated from the demon race, so it was normal for him to be dissatisfied. As for the heavenly demon temple, Di Ling Huang knew a little about it. It was accidentally left in the East Continent during the war in the past. The demon race didn't do it on purpose. Pan Huang said solemnly, "Your Majesty, now that our race has suffered heavy losses and you've been seriously injured by Qin Shujian, if the other races take this opportunity to attack our Eldar, I'm afraid it will be difficult for our race to survive this crisis. Ask the demon race for help." The Earth Spirit Emperor took a deep breath and closed his eyes. Then, he opened them again and said calmly, "Ask for help? No matter what, our Eldar is a subordinate race of the demon race. In order to deal with the human race, we have to put in a lot of effort and even lost several almighty figures. Now, there are human powerhouses attacking us. Logically speaking, the demon race has to take action. Otherwise, what's the point of our Eldar relying on the demon race? If that's the case, why don't our Eldar join the human race?" Di Ling Huang said coldly. Of course, joining the human race was just his angry words. The human race had killed the Eldar so miserably, and the two sides were already mortal enemies. It was almost impossible for them to join the human race at this time. Di Ling Huang was not afraid that the demon race wouldn't care. After all, the Eldar's sacrifice was obvious to all. This time, they had provoked Qin Shujian. It could also be blamed on the Eldar fighting for the demon race. At this time, the demon race had to set an example. Otherwise, which other race would be willing to work for the demon race? Also, Di Ling Huang's expression softened a little, and he said calmly, "Even if the news of my serious injuries spreads, the other races won't act rashly." Among the Eldar, he had absolute confidence. So what if he was seriously injured? With the blessing of the Eldar's luck, his strength would reach an unimaginable level. This was also why there would often be battles in the three continents, but there would rarely be a reason for the destruction of a race. In the end, it was because the foundation of every race could borrow luck to fight against the enemy. At that time, the 10th level of the Heaven Realm was comparable to the Nirvana Realm. The strength of a Nirvana Realm expert was even close to that of a half-immortal, or even an ancient perfected immortal. If that was the case, unless it was an absolute suppression. Otherwise, it was not that easy to destroy a race. Pan Huang was worried and said, "But now that more and more experts of our race have died, the luck of our race has also been lost a lot. If this continues, it will be a big problem." Seal the mystic realm. There shouldn't be any more twists and turns in the next 1,000 years. Di Ling Huang also sighed and said, "It's a pity that the heavens and earth are now born in the East Continent. The heavens and earth of our three continents are no longer born, and there are no extra-connate spiritual objects born. Over the years, the various races have lost a lot of Tao artifacts, and they have already announced that they are out. There had to be a Tao artifact to suppress the luck. There was no need for the Earth Eldar to worry about the loss of luck. But after so many years, the Tao artifacts of the three continents had been severely depleted. Apart from the few large clans who had Tao artifacts, the rest of the clans did not have many Tao artifacts. It was also because of this. The various races had to rely on experts to suppress the luck of a race. Expand the territory. Giving birth to enough clansmen could increase the luck. However, in order to prevent the loss of luck, there had to be enough experts to suppress the luck. The stronger the experts who suppressed the luck, the better. In the past, the Earth Eldar had Di Ling Huang and several mighty figures. The luck could be said to be impregnable, and there was no need to worry about the problem of loss. But now, even without Pan Huang saying it, Di Ling Huang could feel that the luck of the Earth Eldar was slowly decreasing. The luck of the Earth Eldar was too vast. With the current strength of the Earth Eldar, he could not bear such a powerful luck. So, the excess luck gradually disappeared. At this moment, the sky of the Earth Spirit Mystic Realm collapsed, and a hearty voice came from outside. "Di Ling Huang, come out and take a beating. How dare you?" Di Ling Huang was furious. In the next moment, he had already disappeared from the palace. Pan Huang's face was also as gloomy as water as he followed closely behind Di Ling Huang. In the outside world, Qin Shujian raised his stone saber and looked at Di Ling Huang and Pan Huang in front of him with a faint smile on his face. It was different from the last time he took out his true body. This time, the two of them transformed into their human forms to meet each other. Di Ling Huang stared coldly at Qin Shujian and shouted, "Human, don't go too far. Ben Huang really can't do anything to you." As for Qin Shujian's return, Di Ling Huang was really angry. A warrior would rather be killed than humiliated. The other party had returned at this time. It was obvious that he wanted to rub the dignity of the Eldar on the ground. If it wasn't for the fact that he wasn't confident in instantly killing Qin Shujian, Di Ling Huang would have already made his move. Di Ling Huang was furious. Qin Shujian didn't care at all, and said with a faint smile, "When your Eldar besieged my human race in the past, did you ever think that today would happen? I can't be bothered to talk so much nonsense with you. With my current strength, it's true that I can't kill the Eldar. However, your Earth Spirit Mystic Realm can't stop me either, unless your Di Ling Huang doesn't sleep or rest day and night, watching the changes in the Earth Spirit Mystic Realm. Otherwise, I'd like to see how many people your Eldar has for me to kill." Hearing this, Di Ling Huang's eyes burned with anger as he said with killing intent, "You really want to fight to the death with my Eldar? I already said that your Eldar besieged my human race. Didn't our races already fight to the death? Why do you have to repeat such nonsense?" Qin Shujian waved his hand, then looked at Ling Huang, who was about to explode, and said with a faint smile, "I won't talk nonsense with you. Hand over 2 drops of Ling Huang's essence blood. No matter if it's yours or the past Ling Huang's. As long as you give me 2 drops of essence blood, then I'll leave without saying anything else. I can also promise that I won't use the same method to harass your Eldar. How about it, Di Ling Huang? Have you thought it through?" His goal this time. He wanted to get a drop of the Emperor's essence blood to create the Heaven List. As for the 2 drops that he wanted, it was just for his own cultivation. Di Ling Huang's anger subsided, but the aura on his body became colder and colder. "You're threatening Ben Huang? My Eldar has existed since the beginning of heaven and earth. In the ancient times, we were a large race. Don't mention the past. To be able to survive until now, which race hasn't existed since the beginning of heaven and earth? Your Eldar is a large ancient race. My human race is a peak ancient race. Even the Emperor of Heaven was a human. Did I tell you that?" Qin Shujian looked at Ling Huang like he was looking at an idiot. "In terms of foundation, which race in the 4 great continents can compare to my human race? There's no point in talking about the past. If we really return to the ancient times, if your Eldar dared to attack my human race, you would have been destroyed by the experts of my human race. You wouldn't even have the chance to talk nonsense here. One sentence. Are you giving me the 2 drops of essence blood or not? If not, I'll come to your Earth Spirit secret realm when I have time. Your Ling Huang's strength is indeed strong, but he definitely won't be able to keep me here." Qin Shujian was speaking openly. Either give him the essence blood, or continue to harass the Eldar. From his point of view, unless Ling Huang wanted to die together with him, the probability of him refusing was not high. As expected, the Earth Spirit King stared at him for a long time, then slowly said, "I can give you the essence blood, but as I said before, you can't have it. Don't think that my indulgence will give you the right to do whatever you want. If you really push Ben Huang too far, even if I can't take you down, but other people of the human race won't be able to do the same. At that time, my Eldar will fight it out with your human race. Let's see who can last until the end." At this time, he did not want to fight with Qin Shujian. In Ling Huang's heart, the Eldar was still the most important. But an emperor also had dignity. If Qin Shujian kept on doing this, then Ling Huang would personally go to the human race's territory and let them know that an emperor was not to be trifled with. To this, Qin Shujian did not care and said, "I'm a man of my word. Don't worry, Ling Huang." He was not afraid that Ling Huang would go to the human race's territory. The human emperor was not dead yet. With Ling Huang's strength, going there would be suicide. Qin Shujian could not wait for him to do so. However, he didn't say these words out loud. If he really angered the Earth Spirit Emperor and made him want to kill him, it wouldn't be in his interest. Chapter 585. In the end, Ling Huang still gave in. For the sake of the Earth Eldar, this emperor endured humiliation and forced out 2 drops of blood essence for Qin Shujian. Yes, Ling Huang used his own blood essence. The previous Earth Ling Huang had been dead for countless years. Even if there was blood essence left, it would have been refined by him. Qin Shujian wanted Ling Huang's blood essence. There was no other way but to obtain the materials on the spot. Looking at the 2 drops of pale golden blood in front of him that were emitting a terrifying pressure, Qin Shujian put them away. Then, he looked at Ling Huang, whose aura was a little dispirited, and said with a faint smile, "I came a little early and disturbed Ling Huang's breakthrough. It would be even better if these 2 drops of blood essence were of the Nirvana realm." "Human, you're going too far." Ling Huang resisted the urge to kill. Seeing this, Qin Shujian did not continue to provoke Ling Huang. If he provoked this emperor and really fought with him, he might not have an easy time. Then, Qin Shujian cupped his hands and said, "Thank you for Ling Huang's blood essence this time. If there's a chance in the future, I'll come and have a chat with you again. Goodbye." After saying that, he turned around and left. Emperor Pan Huang looked aggrieved. The dignified Ling Huang was forced to lose 2 drops of blood essence. This matter was a disgrace to the entire Eldar. Pan Huang had never expected Qin Shujian to be so powerful. Ling Huang's turbulent aura calmed down and he said indifferently, "From today onwards, seal the Earth Spirit's secret realm. The Eldar will not participate in anything for 1,000 years." Yes, Pan Huang respectfully accepted the order. The current Eldar could no longer withstand any torment. If this continued, his race would be wiped out. When Qin Shujian left, the Earth Eldar then sent out a message. "Seal the Earth Spirit's secret realm from today onwards, and will not participate in any battles for the next 1,000 years." When the news spread, this caused many forces to be astonished. The tremors in front of the Eldar had already made people wonder if there was a strong enemy attacking the Eldar. At this time, after hearing the news from Eldar, immediately, many races and forces had sent experts to Eldar's territory to investigate the situation. Since the Earth Eldar had sealed the Earth Spirit's secret realm, that would be equivalent to the Eldar giving up his territory in the outside world. In this way, the various races would be able to step into it as they wished without being seen as a provocation. The Fiend Race Mystic Realm. The original main hall had been replaced by the Heavenly Demon Temple. The Demon Emperor lived in the Heavenly Demon Temple. Below him were many experts of the demon race. Not long ago, Ling Huang's aura was revealed, and now he announced that the Earth Spirit's secret realm is sealed. Do you know which force attacked the Eldar and forced Ling Huang to seal the Earth Spirit's secret realm? The Demon Emperor looked at the many demon saints below and said calmly, "Just like the Eastern continent, only those who had broken through to the 7th level of the celestial being could be called demon saints." At this moment, there were more than 20 demon saints sitting here, showing the powerful strength of the demon race. Some time ago, when they besieged the human race, the demon race did not use all their strength. They still left many demon saints to guard the demon race's secret realm. 4. To prevent other races from taking the opportunity to sneak attack the demon race's base camp. Hearing this, Demon Saint Tianhong shook his head and said, "I've already sent people to inquire about the news, but there's no movement for the time being. I believe there will be news soon." The Demon Emperor nodded slightly, then said, "Is there any movement from the human race?" The human race now occupies an area of 100,000 miles, and there are no signs of advancing for the time being. However, there are many human cultivators active in our western continent. Tianhong replied without hesitation. At the mention of the human race, the atmosphere in the Heavenly Demon Temple became much gloomier. The demon race had dominated the western continent for hundreds of thousands of years. When had they ever encountered such a failure? In that battle, not only was the Demon Emperor injured, but even a few demon saints had died. The Demon Emperor said, "Pass down Bun Huang's order to kill all the humans who enter the western continent. At the same time, let the other forces take action. Other than our subordinate races, the other races might not listen to our orders." It doesn't matter whether they listen to the order or not. Anyway, just spread the news. In addition, there's an additional reward. Anyone who kills a human can come to the demon race to receive the reward. Ben Huang wants to see how many humans there are to kill. It's not the ancient times anymore. The human race has been silent for so many years. They should be fending for themselves in the eastern continent. If they dare to come out now, they're courting death. The demon emperor said coldly with a gloomy expression. The human race could forget about taking root in the 3 continents. At least, in the western continent, he wanted to make it difficult for the human race to move. The human emperor was indeed strong, but as the emperor of the human race, how could he dare to leave the territory of the human race so easily? If the various races were determined to attack him, no matter how strong the human emperor was, he would still be at risk of dying under the encirclement of many emperors. Therefore, in the demon emperor's opinion, the human emperor did not dare to leave the territory of the human race. However, the human emperor was indeed strong. At least, the demon emperor was not confident that he could defeat the other party. Now that the restrictions of heaven and earth have been opened and the rules of heaven and earth have been perfected, the path above the heavens and earth has been completely opened. Ben Huang will enter seclusion in the next few days. If there's nothing major, don't disturb him. Is His Majesty about to break through? A demon saint asked excitedly. With the demon emperor's current strength, there was only one reason for seclusion, and that was to break through to a higher level. Hearing this, the other demon saints were also excited. The demon emperor was already in the nirvana realm. If he broke through again, he would be in the realm of an ancient true immortal. Now, in the 4 continents, the strongest existence was only in the nirvana realm. If at this time, the demon clan could produce an expert of the ancient immortal level, then which force in the 4 great continents would be able to stop the demon clan? At that time, the demon race would be the only top race in the 4 continents. The demon emperor smiled and said, "It's still too early to say if I can break through. However, the rules of heaven and earth have been perfected, and the emperors of the other races should be preparing to break through. We demons can't fall behind. Now is not the past. Although the nirvana realm seems to be the top, sooner or later, an ancient true immortal will be born. When that time comes, only a true immortal will have the absolute right to speak." "Congratulations, Your Majesty." Tian Hong was the first to congratulate him, as if the demon emperor had already broken through to the true immortal. The rest were the same. The demon emperor smiled faintly, obviously very pleased. Breaking through to the true immortal realm. It was also his obsession. The demon race had a very long lifespan. But so what if it was long? The heavenly human demon race could live for at most 20,000 years. And breaking through to the true immortal realm, their lifespan could reach 129,600 years. For this realm, the demon emperor had a desire in his heart. At this moment, Tian Hong's expression suddenly froze. He looked at the demon emperor and said in a deep voice, "Your Majesty, the Earth Eldar has sent news back. Speak." Seeing Tian Hong's stiff expression, the demon emperor was not too concerned. As for the other demon saints, they all turned their attention to Tian Hong. They also wanted to know what happened to the Earth Eldar. Everything was fine. Why did the Earth Eldar seal the Earth Spirit Mystic Realm? Tian Hong coughed softly and said, "The Earth Eldar sent news that it was Qin Shujian of the human race who attacked the Earth Eldar and killed the current Divine Guardian General Pan Wu and the previous Divine Guardian General Pan Yu. In the end, he forced the Earth Ling Huang to come out of seclusion. In the end, he severely injured the Earth Ling Huang and forced him to seal the Earth's Spirit Mystic Realm." Boom! As soon as Tian Hong finished speaking, there was a huge commotion in the main hall. No one expected this. This was the reason the Earth Eldar sealed the Earth's Spirit Mystic Realm. Even the faint smile on the Demon Emperor's face disappeared at this moment. The human race, Qin Shujian. He would never forget this name. Severely injuring the God Race High Priest was one of the main culprits behind the failure of the various races to besiege the human race. All the forces. They were all familiar with this name. But the biggest reason why the Demon Emperor remembered Qin Shujian was because the Godslayer who severely injured him came from Qin Shujian. In other words, to a certain extent, the Demon Emperor could be considered to have been indirectly injured by Qin Shujian. The other demon saints also had a drastic change of expression at this moment. If I remember correctly, the Earthling Huang was about to break through to the Nirvana realm, but he was seriously injured by Qin Shujian. This news was truly beyond their expectations. One had to know. Qin Shujian had severely injured the high priest of the god race because he had exploded a seven-seal Dao artifact. That was how he had found the right opportunity to attack. Moreover, at that time, the high priest of the god race was also injured because of the backlash from the divination. It could be said that Qin Shujian had an unfair advantage. The other forces did not know the situation, but how could the demon race not know the reason? So, although many demon saints were wary of the second strongest human, they did not think that the other party really had the strength to rival the emperor. But now, the Earthling Huang was seriously injured by the other party. One had to know that the Earthling Huang was not injured at all, and in terms of strength, he was not weaker than the God Race High Priest. He was a veritable emperor. In this situation, the Earthling Huang was seriously injured, and the Earth Eldar had lost another two mighty figures because of this. These demon saints also understood why the Earth Spirit's secret realm was sealed. The demon emperor's expression was indifferent as he said, "Tell me the details of the situation." The Earth Eldar did not say too much in detail, and now that the Earth Spirit's secret realm is sealed, we have no way to take the initiative to send in the news. Tian Hong shook his head helplessly. Speaking of which, he was also a little speechless about the Eldar. He did not speak in detail, but gave a general idea. In that case, it was better not to give any information at all. Trash. The demon emperor cursed angrily. He did not know if he was cursing Tian Hong or the Earthling Huang. Perhaps it was both. To this, Tian Hong pretended not to hear it at all. Then, the demon emperor said, "Pay close attention to Qin Shujian's movements." In addition, the other human who has Zhu Bing needs to be watched closely. As long as he dares to leave the human territory, he must be killed. Yes. In addition, find a way to spread this bounty to the human race. Whoever can hand over the Zhu Bing to the demon race will be guaranteed to become an immortal. In the end, the demon emperor added one more sentence. He did not expect that the human race would hand over the Zhu Bing to the demon race. However, this did not stop him from disgusting the human race. It would be good if he could take the opportunity to divide the human race. If not, then forget it. Anyway, the demon race did not lose anything. P.S. I'll give you a small chapter. We'll talk about the rest during the day. In addition, because some trainee accounts have been deliberately stirring up trouble recently, they have set up a rule that only 500 fans can comment. I believe that there should be 500 fans here. After all, a full subscription has 7,000 to 10,000 fans. If not, there's nothing we can do about it. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.